Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Tonight, we are playing a short game. The name of the scenario is The Relocation of Cottonmouth Springs. It was written by Matt Ryan and Noah Boyd, and it's available on the Reckoning of the Dead website. I'm your GM, and this is version 3 of this game. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. The year is 1944, and World War II is still raging across the pond. Meanwhile, back in the States, the wheels of government are causing their own sorrow and strife in the name of progress. Out in the high desert of California, where the grass is golden brown most of the time, and the hot Santa Ana winds blow, the small farming community of Cottonmouth Springs is situated flat and low in a valley between two mountain ridges. The Old North Dam sits at one end, holding back the waters of Backbone Lake. Its small hydroelectric plant supplies a portion of the power used by Los Angeles. The dam is old and needs to be demolished. A new dam has been built to the southwest to take over once the old dam is gone. The problem is the community of Cottonmouth Springs, their town, their homes, and all their farms will be flooded in 7 days. Nobody bothered to tell them except for now. A meeting has been set up with the local mayor, Honorius Thompson, to deal with the evacuation. A dozen trucks will arrive on day 6 to move out any stragglers. You have been instructed to buy up all the farms, but don't overspend, and get those people out of there. You drive in from Los Angeles, up and over the Gorman Ridge and down into Cottonmouth Valley. It's hot this time of year, but you can see the green of vegetables growing in the fields, carrots, beets, and potatoes mostly. The valley is divided up, and you have a map indicating the properties. The town sits in the center. It's quaint, but well-groomed. The buildings are well-maintained, white wooden clapboard structures. There isn't much: a town hall, a general store, a sheriff's office, and so forth. You were told the only place to stay is the Rowland Family Hotel, and you pull up into one of the parking spaces in front. No other cars. As you leave the air conditioning inside the car, you are slapped in the face by a 90-degree temperature day, and it's only 9:30 in the morning.
I guess there is something to be said about not dressing your rate every single time. This heat is ridiculous.
I knew it was going to be bad, but this is oppressive.
If it wasn't because of that memo from the senior partners, I wouldn't be here myself.
Oh no, me either. But they want this place demolished, they will get it demolished.
And I'm here to make sure that the value is reasonable.
Fair, of course.
And I'm simply here to make sure everyone gets paid accordingly and rightfully so for their property as a home appraiser.
Absolutely, just compensation per the law.
Yes, of course.
And of course, we look over those contracts with fine-tooth combs. The senior partners would demand no less.
Shall we move inside? This heat is atrocious. This is a hotel?
Yes. I do warn you, though, that some of these hotels do not have air conditioning.
Oh, dear.
I sort of sigh, giving a sort of sidelong glance to my several pressed suits that are hanging in garment bags in the car.
Okay. So you step inside, and it is a little cooler in the inside. There are ceiling fans up high. This is a 2-story structure, and you're guessing there are, maybe 6 rooms up above and maybe 6 rooms on the same level towards the back. The second you walk in the door, you hear a little bell ring, and gentleman behind the counter, he looks up, and then he looks over to the side and he says, honey, guests have arrived. And she steps into the room, and she was cleaning something, so she's wiping her hands. And he says, welcome, welcome. Are you staying this evening, or you need a room? Rooms?
Yes, I say, walking forward with my courtroom smile on. We'll be staying here for about the next week or so. We could certainly use rooms.
Oh, excellent. Visiting friends?
I suppose you could say that. 3 rooms, please.
Right, 3 rooms. There's 4 of you, or
Well, I can't exactly share a room with anyone else, and if we put 2 into another, and
well, I mean, however you want. I mean, okay, 3 rooms. Divide those up however you want. Let's see. I've only got 3 keys, though.
That would be perfectly fine. We're also guests of Mayor Thompson, actually.
Oh, great. Yeah, Mary Thompson. He's a great guy. Do you want upstairs or downstairs?
Upstairs, preferably for myself.
Okay.
yes,
So
that would be great.
he gets like room 6, 7, and 8. And
The gentlemen can choose their room.
he hands them to you.
Thank you.
So, your guest of the mayor. He's really swell guy.
You know him?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm probably distantly related to him.
Really?
Say, yeah,
Ah.
second or third cousin, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah,
Small
he's a
community.
little older than I am, though. But yeah, not sure exactly how the relation is. A lot of people in town have relations.
I see.
tight knit community.
Pretty tight knit, yeah. Yeah, we all stick together.
I guess
This
I
is,
want.
I'm sorry. I should have introduced myself. Where are my manners? My name is Andrew Rowland. This is my hotel. This is my wife, Sarah.
Oh, well, very nice to meet you both.
Oh,
It's very nice to meet you.
I'm Albert Douglas. I'm a home appraiser. I'm here with my on the behalf of my lawyer friends here with the U.S. government. Don't know how I got roped into this one. Kind of look over to them, just kind of shake my head.
The firm is compensating you very well, Mr. Douglas, for your efforts, us as the government.
I should have retired years ago, honestly.
But no, we certainly appreciate everything you do. Believe me.
My boys are coming. They're going to help you carry your stuff up.
Yes, thank you very
Excellent,
much.
excellent.
Thank you, thank you.
Boys. And after a couple seconds, a couple of young boys, you'd say they're probably 14 and 15 years old. They come stumbling into the room. They're dressed more casually, obviously. They don't probably get many people staying at the hotel that often. Take this lady and these gentlemen's bags up to their rooms. They'll tell you where they go. You got stuff in the car probably then?
Yes, we do.
All right, excellent.
All of our luggage.
Well, we've also got a place here to eat. It's not really like a formal dining room, but if you need something, we can cook it for you or get it ready for you. If you want meals, we can do 8 o'clock for dinner.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, let's see what else. No, you guys go together. Yeah, go out and get their stuff, and they'll take it up for you right away. So how do you know the mayor?
We've been asked to consult on a certain problem, but don't worry, it shouldn't take too long to resolve. About a week or
Cool.
so.
Really, that's interesting. So you said firm. Are you like lawyers or something?
You could say that, but again, I can't really
I mean-
speak too much of it until we speak to the mayor.
I mean, he looks like a lawyer. He
Absolutely.
looks-
We represent the U.S. government on behalf of our firm, Wolfram and Hart, and I give him a overglossed business card.
Oh, so some sort of government business. That's interesting.
Correct.
I didn't got
For
it.
myself, I'm in real estate.
Oh, real estate. Wow. Well, this is a nice place to live.
It certainly looks like that.
Has your family been here long, Mr. Roland?
Oh yeah, I'm a second generation. I actually am one of the very few people who don't own a big chunk of property. I own the property across the street, which is it's the smallest parcel of land in the town. We grow mostly food for ourselves and for the hotel. We run the hotel. That's how we make our isn't that right, honey? And she's like, oh yes, and I do the cooking and the cleaning, and we are a perfect partnership. And they are kind of snuggly, when they're saying this, kind of adorable.
And I assume this place here is the original work.
Oh yeah, yeah. Probably late 1800s or mid 1800s
yes.
was built. Most of the town was built back then.
Do you ever feel crowded? I mean, like you mentioned, your other neighbors seem to have so much land, and here you are.
Oh no,
it doesn't seem right,
Oh no, we get along just fine with all the neighbors. I can't think of anybody in town who's in conflict with anyone else.
Oh, so you wouldn't like more breathing room, elbow room, anything like that?
Oh no, we're quite cozy. Yeah.
May I ask, have you done any renovations or improvements to this place?
I mean, now and then we do repairs. We don't get much in the way of like harsh winter weather like in some places of the country, but the desert wind and the dryness and the heat and all that, they do their damage too. So we got to keep everything up, but we're proud of our little town. We keep it nice and neat and clean.
Oh, that's certainly evident from when we came in, but certainly certainly you might not miss this heat. Whew.
Well, you kind of get used to the heat after a while, just like anywhere else. I imagine people living in Alaska get used to the cold. Out here, you get used to it. At least it's a dry heat.
Yes, there is that.
I kind of want to look at the hotel right now because I realize we're kind of standing at ground zero of where the flood's going to happen, right? So they don't know yet. We haven't told them what's going to happen.
Correct.
So I guess I want to look at the hotel. I don't want to say anything just yet till we talk to the mayor, but I want to see what maybe just while we're here, I want to kind of just look over while the lawyers are kind of, fraternizing, being nice and pleasant. I just want to see what their hotel would be worth.
Well, for a place out here in the middle of nowhere, you're actually a little surprised that they have a 2-story hotel because it's probably their house. I mean, they probably live here, and it's just like a bed and breakfast.
Like it doesn't seem bad.
No,
but
it's
also
actually very well maintained. Everything is clean. Everything is neat. The wood's all polished. The paint there's no chipping paint.
Probably give them a pretty decent price on the hotel. I don't know what to say about everyone else in town, but the hotel, at least they will be decently compensated, it seems.
Except for the fact that they don't seem to have very efficient air conditioning.
Well, it's also 1944.
Right.
That's
you'd think that this would be a nice, quaint little place anywhere else that you'd love to stay.
Interesting location.
And they
don't know how
seem
much
friendly
traffic they get. They seem nice too.
They probably get very little, if any, traffic at all.
Probably just like somebody coming in for business, I imagine.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like if we could convince them to move their business elsewhere, they could probably start up somewhere else if we could convince them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, nobody here is going to be happy about eminent domain policies being implemented. But I think we can, I don't know, I want to give people as fair a price on their houses as possible.
It is the war. We do things for the greater good.
I get that, but that's these people's houses.
This is very true, but considering what's about to happen, I could always work in 7 days, the dam is being demolished. This place is going to flood.
Where are you having this con? You can't actually.
Well, no, sorry. That was
all
out of character. Oh, that was all out of character.
Okay, all right.
There's
Let's-
gonna be a
let's-
flood.
Let's
Excuse
stick
me.
to the game.
Oh no. Okay,
Let's not
sorry.
matter
The
too
game.
much. All right. So
Hey, I just wanted to appraise their house really quick.
yeah, I mean, you give it, fair market value. I mean, it
Okay.
except for the location, except for the fact it's out here in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's going to make a lot of money, or you're surprised that they've made any money at all running this place.
It doesn't. None of this sits well with me. Like I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I can give them a fair price, but then I like look at them, and I'm like, well, it's like just some family mom and pop shop. They probably
Right.
lived here. Like their grandparents probably grew up here. It's
Right.
like,
All they've done is maintain the place. So,
yeah, it doesn't
Um,
sit well with me what I'm about to do. But I guess
Good.
I'm just.
And see, I'm just here to make sure that the government gets its fair share of the loot.
I'm probably working with Jakov. How do you say your last name?
Yakovitz.
Yakovitz. I'm probably like hanging out with Yakovitz
Okay.
in this
Yeah.
time for the most part too.
So the boys start carrying your luggage inside. There's something you can't quite put your finger on it, but when you go into places that this is just sort of running in the back of your mind, where people are kind of backwards and a little behind the times, and they've lived here their whole lives, and as he said, everybody seems to, they're related to each other and stuff like that. There are signs in the boys that there is a bit of the backsliding of evolution. They're a little buck-toothed, and their heads are a little slanted back, and in general, you'd assess them as pretty homely, but country boys, they're homely in this case. They're friendly enough, and the two of them together cooperate, and they start taking your stuff up to the room and ask you, which room. You guys will have to sort of assess them to get your rooms.
So I tell them which room is mine, and then I give them 50 cents of tip. Thank you, gentlemen.
Gee, thank you, mister.
I tell them which room I'm getting, and they also get 50 cents from me.
Okay. Wow, thank you, lady.
I'll do the same.
Okay. And you guys are going to probably go up and unpack or put your stuff. All right. The rooms are quaint. They are very country style. There's not a lot of decoration on the wall. They're simple. The beds are big. You'd expect in a place like this that the beds would be, singles. But they've kind of crammed some fairly large beds. They might be like queen size, what we would call a queen size. So you could easily fit two people into a bed. You'll have to figure out how you want to work that, since two of you are sharing a room. There's a bathroom down the hall, so it's a shared bathroom. That's not that unusual, though. All right. You have a meeting, I believe, with the mayor. What did we say? 10:30?
I think we got here at like 9.
Yeah,
Right.
it's you've still got quite a.
We have like the whole day, I think.
You might even be hungry.
So,
Probably
Mr.
didn't eat breakfast.
No.
So, Mr. Yakovitz, how much do you imagine a place like this has to pay annually for their, various tax-related expenses? I imagine, regardless of income, there's still property taxes to be concerned about.
Well, the government. The government always has taxes for everything. It's I like to let the our friend here make an evaluation and then go from there.
Oh, I mean more that if their income stream is going to be very low or has been very low, given lack of.
Well, I don't do the assessment of the houses per se. I do the assessment of other things.
Fair enough. I'm just wondering if they're behind on their taxes and debt already, then perhaps this isn't worth as much as we think.
And certainly, I murmur as I'm looking around, I'm certainly sure they could probably plant this business elsewhere and do just as well.
Given the lack of traffic, it's hard not to.
As you guys are sort of, unpacking and chit-chatting privately with one another, you hear footsteps on the stairs coming up the stairs, and Andrew and Sarah right behind him. They're coming up the stairs, and Andrew says, my wife was wondering if you people had any meals on the way here, if you'd like some breakfast or something.
Oh, that would be mighty nice of you.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
no.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
We'll fix you some breakfast. Any dietary problems that any of you have?
No, not at all. Thank you.
No pork for me, please.
Well, we don't have pork, but we'll make do.
Oh, excellent.
So,
I got a cigarette and start smoking as I look around the place.
all right. It's a shame. This place is quite nice.
Fetch a nice price if we weren't going to tear it down with an entire wall of water in about a week.
I mean, Mr. Douglas is about highest and best use. And again, the value is the value given where it is. Sentimentality has nothing to do with the valuations. You know that.
Yeah, but also I don't know where these people have nowhere to go.
And I'm sorry,
Mr.
this is relevant. How again?
Mr. Douglas.
Mr. Thorne, I mean, you got to understand, we do have to make sure they have somewhere they can afford to move somewhere.
Mr. Douglas.
No.
Mr. Douglas, our job is to make sure is to get the property and get the people out. Where they go after that is not our problem.
These are
No.
we can't say that, Mrs. Massey. And these are
Miss Massey.
Miss Massey. My apologies, Miss. I say as I cough. I don't know if anybody knows. I'm 60, by the way. I'm very old. I don't know if that was established. I'm a 61-year-old man. I'm like,
do you see a ring,
practically need
Mr.
a
Douglas? No. The only ring I wear is the ring from Georgetown Law School. That is my loyalty, and that is my commitment.
No, I understand, but I feel we do need to give these people fair pricing. I mean, we're evicting them from their homes. These people, this family's done nothing wrong. They don't know what's about to hit. They're look at these people. Look how nice they're being to us. They don't know what we're about to say.
This is quite true. And yes, I suppose if nothing else, we should at least make sure they can have expenses to move somewhere. But it is not our problem to try and arrange for everyone's living situation afterward. They're resourceful people. They'll figure it out.
By their own
I think
bootstraps if they have to.
We need to exercise just tact.
Oh, I agree. I mean, if nothing else, giving them a way out would make it easier for them to agree to leaving. So I absolutely agree with you.
Agreed there, yes.
It just doesn't sit. I'm a little just nervous about it.
Oh no,
my character is, I guess, just I'm gonna even say he's visibly just not having a good time with this.
Oh, let's face it, Albert. We are not in a happy business. This is true. Unfortunately or fortunately, we have a job to do, and the government is going to be coming in here, and this is part of the price of progress. And remember, there is a war going on, and power is needed not only by the cities but by industry.
Yeah, I kind of just scratch my gray stubble beard, and I'm like, yes. So I'm just.
I don't like it any more than you do, but
people out of
There's
their
young men right now, fighting for freedom and against tyranny right now. So, we're just going to have to unfortunately do a part of what has to be done.
That's very
Every
compelling, Mr. Yakovitz. I believe that would be a great approach with the townsfolk too.
exactly. Everyone must do their part. This is ours. They must do theirs.
And there's a river that runs through town, correct? I wanted to make sure about that.
There is,
Mhm.
yeah. It's not. It's from the dam. The dam.
Yeah,
It's off. It's the backbone river.
gotcha. Okay. I guess
All right.
I guess I'm just gonna wait for our breakfast. I'll agree with them, but it doesn't sit well with me still.
It's fairly quick. It only takes them maybe 15 minutes, and the boys come running up the stairs together, and they say, "Breakfast is ready."
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So as we're down there and eating, and I'm assuming there's omelets, I'm going to point at it and look at Mr. Douglas and go, Mr. Douglas, you can't make omelets without cracking a few eggs. Interesting how that works.
I sort of smile as I take a bite of my own. But of course, after you crack a few eggs, the results are quite tasty.
There's fresh coffee and
Oh yes,
yeah, it's kind of a scrambled omelet thing. Quite tasty with little bits of vegetables in there. And
well, my congratulations to your wife. She is quite a cook. You've been very
she
fortunate.
really is. She's an amazing cook. She's going to be doing some bread baking later on. Now that we have guests, I mean, it's we can get some bread going and some other things that'll make your stay as pleasant as possible.
Oh,
And they're once again kind of snuggly with each other for a moment, and all smiles.
I'm kind of just eating quietly. I'm kind of just realizing that we're gonna have to be the bad guy here very very soon. So I'm just kind of mentally preparing for that.
So you have a meeting at 10:30 with the mayor. The town is really small, so you can leave your car parked there and walk anywhere. The town hall's there, the church is there, the mayor's house is right there. His house is probably now. Most of the people in town don't live in the town, but a few people do. And the mayor is one of them. The sheriff's probably another one that lives here. The mayor's house is a nice, stately sort of house with little gardens around it and flowers blooming. But it's all I'm saying is that when you walk out the door, you don't need directions. You can go, yeah, it's right there. So when you're ready.
So as we're walking down, I'm going to look at Albert and say, Mr. Douglas, I would believe given the heat, do you think fire hazard is a problem?
I mean, I'm gonna look around, and I mean, it looks kind of like just shrubby, right?
It's shrubby, yeah.
But dry, yes?
I mean, why are you worried about
Very
fire
shrubby.
hazard? All this is gonna be underwater in a month.
Oh, but imagine what would happen if a fire breaks out. These poor people would have nowhere to go.
They're not gonna have anywhere to go in a month when the water is flooded in the valley.
Right, but they'll have money.
As they're talking, I pull a fan out of my handbag and fan myself with it a little bit. Although at the mention of fire, I sort of hide that behind my fan.
So your impression of the town is starting to bustle a little bit. You notice groups of people, usually mom and dad and some kids going into the general store, doing things like that, going to the post. There's probably a little post. I don't think I put it on the map, but there's probably a little post office. Lots of children, all with around groups of parents walking about. Some of them look like they might just be going for a morning walk, a little stroll. It's quaint. It's like you've been transported to a simpler time when people are just having a nice time in their town. But those kids, they're really homely. There's something about, there's a little inbreeding that must be going on in this town, because there's a lot of buck teeth and there's a lot of dark complexions and a lot of, I don't know, they're just homely. Their eyes are too far apart, or they're just little things that you notice like that are really unpleasant. But whatever, they're kids. And they seem to be happy, and they're dancing around their parents and they're playing with one another. And sometimes groups come together and they mingle and they chat, and they seem very affectionate. They're they don't just shake hands, it's pats on the shoulder. It's geez, these people all seem to really love living here and love their neighbors, and they love all these interactions that they're having. You find that either you have to sort of melt a little, or you have to become even more staunch in your resolve. But you're heading towards the mayor's house. The mayor knows, he knows there's a meeting. So he's actually on his front porch, sitting in a rocking chair with a fan, fanning himself as you come up. His wife is serving him iced tea. And he sees you and he stands up and he says, "Oh, you must be the people from over the hills."
Mayor Thompson, pleasure to meet you. Marius Thorne,
Very nice to
Esquire.
meet you.
We represent
Honorius.
the government.
Yeah, you can call me Honorius. This is my wife, Prudence.
Of course, Mayor Thompson.
Please come inside.
It's a pleasure to meet you all, I say as I come in, holding up my fan and placing it back in my handbag.
The house is...
I introduced myself as Albert Douglas. I'm a home appraiser on commission with the United States government.
Please come inside.
And I'm Ephraim Rakovitz. I'm a tax assessor.
Very nice to meet you. As you step inside, the house is very nicely appointed, very, very pretty. Once again, very clean. Some tasteful art on the walls, mostly landscapes. Lots of prairies, lots of, things running wild, and kind of westernish looking stuff. He says, "Well, you had some stuff to discuss with us, but I thought that some of the details were kind of unclear. Shall we go into my office?"
Yes, please.
So you all go into his office with him, and his wife, Prudence, after she sort of makes sure you all have beverages, because it's still warm, she takes a position standing right next to him as he sits down and says, "So please go over this with me once again. I'm not exactly sure I understand."
Mayor Thompson, this is a sensitive topic, and I look at Prudence.
Oh, it's okay. My wife is like my secretary. She's privy to everything.
I understand. Well then, let's cut to the chase, I say as I pull my business card out of my handbag. I'm Julia Massey, an eminent domain lawyer with Wolfram and Hart. You said you have some questions about the current plans?
Well, and he looks at his wife and says, "You said that we're going to have to relocate."
Yes.
Because of the dam.
Mm-hmm. Yes. As you see, the Old North Dam is failing. It eventually is going to break on its own, and at this point, there's really no fixing it. So, at the end of this week, it is going to be demolished. That being said, when that happens, that is going to flood this valley. Everything.
Right.
We have been tasked with buying up the property and assisting with relocation so that there is no one here that will be affected by the loss of life when this happens.
Well, I should tell you that there's going to be a lot of resistance. I can anticipate that now. People love living here. I mean, it's sometimes, and he looks up at his wife and she looks at him and smiles, and he's like, we understand responsibility and we understand that we have to do what we have to do, but I think that we need to handle this very delicately. Is there any way we could delay this a month or two?
Unfortunately, I was driven to understand that the dam is being demolished by the end of the week. I do not believe any of us have the power to avoid that.
It's a lot to ask all of these people. These, got 19, 20, 30, 20 families.
Are you a religious man, Mr. Thompson?
Well, I mean, I believe, God, and most of the people in the town attend church on a regular basis.
Then they should know that a lot can be done in 7 days.
Oh, very, very interesting.
And if you look at what's been happening even to some of our other loyal citizens, asked to move to different concentration camps for the security of the nation, you could imagine our position.
Well, I'm not sure I know exactly what you're talking about in that case, concentration camps, but I mean, some of our own are in the war. We know that that's, we've done our part sending some of our young men to war. Not an easy thing for them to do at all, being away from their families and all.
You are good citizens.
But asking them to leave their homes, like I say, we'll have to handle this very delicately. I propose because we call a town meeting. Soonest I could probably do that would be tomorrow afternoon. I'd have to get the word out that we're going to have a town meeting. I mean, until then, you can enjoy our hospitality.
Are there specific aldermen, influencers in the town who you think we should reach out to separately and secure their support prior to this larger ordeal?
Of course,
the
yes.
elders of the town, yes, of course. I mean, I'm one of them, but I think maybe I should handle that. I'll break that news to them as gently as possible. I'm sure that by tomorrow afternoon, they will have some questions for you.
My concern here is if we cannot come to an amiable solution, the government are sending the National Guard in, and that would be unpleasant for all parties involved. Whereas,
well, let's hope.
Mr. Thorne, let's not resort to the larger options this soon, shall we?
of course, Ms. Massey.
He once again looks up at his wife, and they sort of hold hands, and he says, well, let's hope it doesn't come to anything like that.
And we will do everything we can to avoid that, of course. And that's where Mr. Douglas and Mr. Yakovitz come in. They're here to make sure everyone gets well compensated and fairly for their property.
Well, I've probably got the nicest house. I'm not sure how much that's going to weigh in the scheme of things, but some of the properties are fairly large, some are fairly small. I could probably get you a list of all of the
absolutely
of land.
That would be lovely, thank you.
And being so influential will, of course, make sure you are well taken care of.
Oh, well, only what's fair.
Mayor Thompson, we take no pleasure in doing this, believe me, but we are only doing what we must do for the sake of the nation. I would
It's
hope
it's
that the others should come around.
it's why we have to handle it delicately. I can understand because I'm in government office, but these are rural folk. These are people who value, you know, love and loyalty and family and home and homestead, and their ancestors have lived here, and this is not an easy thing, but I mean, you've told us pretty much an ultimatum that it's going to happen, and there's not much we can do about it.
Unfortunately, that is out of our hands. I can't stop them demolishing the dam any more than I can stop a storm from rolling in.
You say that, and in the moment that you say that, you notice a painting behind the mayor. I mean, it's been there all this time. It's another landscape. You notice that it's a little unusual. It's a landscape of a prairie stretching off into the distance, and the sky is filled with like storm clouds, and in the center of it is, I mean, a big rolling thunderstorm with little play of lightning here and there. It's quite beautiful, sort of an impressionistic work, but it's funny that you would say thunderstorm just as you look up and see the thunderstorm in the picture.
That's a beautiful landscape. Montana, somewhere in the Midwest.
Oh, I'm not sure how it was painted. It's pleasing. Well, you've given me a lot to think about, and hopefully everything will go quite smoothly tomorrow. You haven't said anything to anyone.
No, not yet.
No, of course not.
That's probably a good thing, because the rumor mill, you understand. If that gets going, we might have another problem.
Of course.
Have you any consideration as to where all of these people are going to be able to go afterwards? I mean, it's not like one can just buy a piece of property in a week. And you mentioned something about a refugee camp.
I'm sure there are places that, Miss Massey, please go on.
I wasn't about to say anything.
Of course. I'm sure there are places that we can make sure folks have a place to stay until they're taken care of.
No,
Again, the government.
That's definitely going to come up. So
Absolutely. Lots of camps around.
well,
Yes, but those are for security reasons, not for anything like this.
And those people have vacated properties that, from what I understand, according to the firm's latest research, is actually going for fairly reasonable rates.
Hmm.
well, I'm not sure of what more to say. Do you have anything you want to say to me or ask?
Anything we can do to help you make the case to your fellow countrymen?
Well, just try to imagine what it is they might be asking you tomorrow, and expect to come up against some.
You mentioned there are a few families who have sent boys to the war. Do you have their names? We'd like to reach out to them.
Not offhand. I mean,
Okay.
there are a lot of children in this town. A lot of it's a fairly healthy town. I myself have 2 daughters.
Yes, I did notice that. There's quite a large number of children.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're constantly, doing what nature intended and making children.
Of course.
Well, I'll admit, I mean, I don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. So if there's nothing else you need at the moment, if you do need something, feel free to talk to me. Or if the rumor mill does start and it does get out, the sheriff knows his job. So he's not going to break the law. So you can rely on him if you need to. His name is it's Hugo and Chastity Taylor.
Perhaps either yourself or your lovely wife can introduce us to the sheriff and make introductions.
Well, I mean, we can walk over there right now if you want. They're just down the street. Yeah. Let's go do that.
Yes.
You're on mute. Ephraim.
Let's
That might be a wise decision, considering that some may take around if we have everybody official, ready for something.
Well, let me get them on the phone. Well, we're comfortable in here. Let me get them on the phone.
Yes, that might be
over.
like
wise to bring them here.
community leaders who own a lot of property, I think we should brief them today if that's possible.
Well, I'll talk to the elders of the town tonight, and then
I appreciate it.
we'll set the meeting because it'll take them time to get everybody. We got to contact everybody on the farm.
I guess
to get them to.
I personally would ask for just some of the largest landowners just to get that out of the way.
Okay.
As the appraiser.
Well, we'll see what we can do. Let me call them right now. He and his wife step out of the room for a moment, and you can hear them on the phone in the other room. But you're in here alone for a few minutes. Still have coffee.
I'm gonna see if I can really I just want to see, like, because I am a bit paranoid because corporate lawyer and all that, or government lawyer, I'm gonna at least keep my ears peeled to see if I hear anything odd coming from them, like what they're talking about.
All right, do a listen roll.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, you can't hear anything. It's somewhat muffled.
Okay.
If I look at their facial expressions, do they again seem concerned, worried, or do
Well,
they?
they seem concerned and worried both. I mean, you can see that. You can't imagine that they wouldn't be.
But not angry or.
No.
All of us should fill up. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow.
After a couple of minutes, he comes back inside with his wife, and he says to her as he comes in, he's like, "Well, here, let me help clear these dishes. The sheriff will be here in about 5 minutes."
Do you need some help, dear?
Oh, it's all right. We can handle it.
All right.
He helps her take the stuff out, and then they both come back. He takes his place and she stands next to him. And after a couple of minutes, the sheriff arrives with his wife. The two of them come in. Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm Hugo Taylor, and this is my wife, Chastity.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ephraim Yakovitz.
The sheriff says, you all introduce yourselves. And then, so the sheriff says, "So what's the problem?" The mayor explains to him. He says, "This has to stay in confidence. We have a situation. The government needs to purchase our land, and this is going to end up being another lake. They've rebuilt a new dam, and the whole place is going to be flooded, and we have to move." And the sheriff is shocked. He's got his wife by the hand, and he pulls her in close, like the mayor is telling them that their lives are over. and he's like, but what about our homes? What about our, our property? And it's like, they're going to pay you for all of that. It's necessary. And he tries very hard to explain this to the sheriff. And he's like, what I need you to do, Hugo, is I need you to make sure that if there's any problems, that these 4 people are protected under the law. They're not doing this maliciously. They're doing it because they've been sent here by the government and it's just their job. And the sheriff understands, but why haven't we found out about this sooner?
To tell you the truth, Sheriff Taylor, the state of the North Dam is treacherous beyond belief, about to break.
Well, why don't they fix it?
The government, we're at a war. We're at war, Sheriff Taylor. You know this, your boys are there. The government, in its infinite wisdom, of course, decides that, well, the Southern Dam, and I'm surprised you guys haven't noticed.
Well, we don't travel around much, but if they could build the Southern Dam, why couldn't they fix the Northern Dam?
Well, I'm not real sure either. Someone far away in the government made this decision, probably because the southern part could be expanded and create even more power. This decision isn't our decision. We're just carrying out what they have told us. It is an unfortunate business, and I don't like it any more than you do. However, one hopes that they have more infinite wisdom than we do. And you will be, well compensated. But I agree that some indication should have been given to you much earlier. Unfortunately, it seems that you know how bureaucracy works. Sometimes certain parts don't tell people down the chain what is going on in an appropriate manner.
Hugo, we're going to have a town meeting tomorrow. I'm talking to the elders tonight, and we'll have a meeting tomorrow and go over this. For now, keep this under your hat.
I want to assure the sheriff that they'll all be compensated well for their properties.
You keep saying that, but how are you going to compensate us for a life lived here? I mean, this is our place.
I understand that, but this is a matter of safety at this point. We've been sent here to get you guys out of here before everything floods soon. You can understand that, right? Look, I wasn't even assigned to this until
I can
yesterday.
understand it, but I don't have to like it, and I don't like it.
Oh, and trust us, we don't like it any more than you do. However, unfortunately, we have a job to do, and part of that is to, do this and also make sure that you are, are able to get out in safety.
It's all a safety concern at this point, sir. Officer.
It is unfortunate, but this is the situation. We must play the hand we are dealt.
Can you just imagine what would happen to, heaven forbid, the children if the dam were to break?
Well, surely you wouldn't break the dam if we were still here.
Oh, but it's so damaged.
No, that's the issue here, sir.
No.
We wouldn't plan to, but there is a plan to have the dam operational in 7 days, I do believe. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
In 7 days is when the old dam is being demolished. We can't change that, unfortunately.
The sheriff, there's sort of an interesting interplay going on. The sheriff clings to his wife. She's upset as he is. The mayor's wife sort of reaches over and puts a hand on her, to sort of calm her down. And there's an interesting moment where all 4 of them are kind of linked together for a few moments as they're trying to calm each other down. And the sheriff is like, well, I mean, I don't like it. I'll wait until tomorrow to ask my questions, but I'll make sure nothing happens. I mean, I'm not going to let anything happen to guests in the town.
We appreciate that.
And if there are questions we can address now between all of us, I think that would be healthy.
I'll wait. I have to think about it for a while.
That's understandable.
And the mayor says, all right, you can go. Thank you very much.
By the way, as I watch them, I get the sense that there might, since this town is relatively close, do I see a family resemblance between the two ladies? Should I do a spot hidden?
Not really. You know, now the sheriff and his wife are younger. They're not, the mayor is older and his wife are older. They could theoretically be, you know, the generation apart. But yeah, they don't really look like each other at all.
Okay.
Although do a spot hidden.
All right. A 35 does it.
Okay. She does look a little like Sarah Rowland over at the hotel.
Okay. All right. But that's not a huge surprise considering that it sounds like this town has had.
Yeah, everybody's married, everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
Where I'm from originally, that's probably the way it was too.
So unless you can think of something for the moment, then the sheriff leaves, the mayor finishes up with you, and then you guys can leave. What do you guys want to do? You really have, we'll say it's, you know, getting close to 11 o'clock, maybe 11:30.
If nothing else, I might like to just have a quick look around of the actual town, the outlying areas, just so we can get a general idea of what to expect come tomorrow and, you know, what type of land we're dealing with here.
Especially the larger properties, yes?
Yes.
Well, for the most part,
definitely.
in all directions, there are mountains, and there's peaky mountains that are very brown because they're desert mountains, and then they're mostly rock. And then you've got a little bit of slope coming into the valley, and then it's pretty much flat across the valley. So you're not really seeing any, like a rolling hill. You're seeing flat land. And you can see farms out there. You know, some of them have hedges around them, but most of them are pretty much one after the other with little fences. You haven't seen any livestock.
Okay.
But you're guessing some people have chickens because you have pets.
What sort of crops do they appear to be growing? Can we tell?
You've been told that it's mostly carrots, potatoes, beets, things like that. So the crops are all low. There's no corn or anything.
So like no like commercial farming, like corn, soybeans, canola.
Right. Now you will find that sort of stuff in Central California, all the way up, because they got vast, huge.
This is more for local California edibles.
Right. And farmers markets and things like that.
I'll let them do the accessory. I'm going to slowly get my stuff into the hotel, my calculator, which is probably about this big.
Adding machine, probably.
Adding machine, yes, you're right. Adding machine, my official books, because I figure that's probably part of my materials. I will probably bring in the old case too.
If it was in your luggage, the boys would have helped you bring all that in there.
All right, yeah, okay. The only thing I didn't bring up, but I'm bringing up now, is old Betsy.
Your shotgun?
That's in a case.
Okay.
And huh? Yeah, they do.
Never seen a case for a shotgun. Usually just.
Yeah. Well, that would look a little bit too much. Well,
okay. If you if you walk into the hotel, into the Roland Hotel, and Mr. Roland's always there and ready, and his wife is always there.
Oh, see, I'm
Um,
thinking I can get to my room, but if I
well-
can't, I'll leave it in the trunk then.
All he would probably say is, "Oh, you're going to do some hunting."
Yeah.
And that's what
Yes,
some
yes.
shotguns for.
And I'll take it on up.
All right. So, Julia, you said you were going to do something. What are you? You're just walking around, looking around. It's a
Yeah.
quaint little town, pretty little thing.
Just to sort of get an idea of what we're kind of like dealing with here, or at least just to get an idea of like lay of the land ish.
Well,
I
in your mind's eye, you just see that wall of water going whoosh, like
Right,
Noah's
right.
flood and wiping out everything.
But I am interested, at least looking in at least at the main several buildings, if only to like get an idea of, okay, like, so this is the main religious area, like general stores here, so like people we may want to have on our side when it's time, when the time comes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I gave you the little map.
Of course.
And once again, you see people walking about here and there. At this point, I would like you to do a spot hidden. You can all do it.
All of us are just her.
You can all do it since you're all outside.
I'm going to spend 3 luck to make that a success.
Okay.
Pass with a normal success.
Okay.
28 out of 40.
So maybe you say something to one another, but at this point, you've started to make an interesting connection. You look around, and there's a fair amount of people, doing their daily business in this town. You have yet to see anyone in this town by themselves.
No.
The man always has his wife. His children are playing around. The mayor had his wife there. The sheriff, his wife. The hotel owner, his wife. It's almost like nobody is ever 10 feet or more away from their family. You thought at first maybe they're all just close-knit, but there you keep looking for just one person to be walking by himself or doing something, or a wife to be shopping at the store by herself. You don't see it. The husband's there. Why does the husband need to go grocery shopping with his wife?
It's interesting. It's
Yeah.
notable. Like they're extra close, it seems.
And when they cross paths, they don't just cross paths. They come together and they mingle and they chit chat and they're armsy with each other, and then they move on. And holy shit, you've never seen a town where the people are so
I look at the others.
happy and together.
I look at the others and go, I sure hope they can keep their lips sealed.
I highly doubt it, given how social everyone appears to be.
Agreed.
I don't. It's gonna be harder than I thought.
It may be prudent then, since they don't go anywhere alone. Perhaps we shouldn't either.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Never any more than, we shouldn't separate any more than by pairs.
And should we get ahead of the rumor mill by perhaps visiting the church? They do claim to be religious people. They might be looking for guidance.
Yes.
I
Well, we
wouldn't
could-
mind visiting the church. I definitely have to appraise it at some point. As we go to every building, by the way, I kind of want to just look over it and maybe take a note on how much it might be worth at some point.
Okay.
Trying to work as we go, I guess.
Yeah,
Alright.
same here.
I don't have numbers for you, but you can
Yeah.
have whatever you want.
I'm taking notes. I'm like,
You know.
yeah, 50,000.
Um,
Oh, that's crazy.
the church, at first glance, it's right over there. At first glance, as you're walking, it looks like a standard Protestant or Roman Catholic church, just like you'd expect in any town. It's white. It has a steeple. It has a sign in front of it, and the sign says, where did it go? It's got an unusual name. It says Church of Telluris Matris Nostrae in Latin. Do any of you have Latin?
I do not.
Not on my character sheet.
No.
Oh, okay, well, roll and luck roll, because I mean you do get.
I mean,
some
we are
Latin.
lawyers. We should.
Yeah, we are
have-
lawyers,
You do
yes.
get some Latin.
Yeah.
Although usually getting legal terms in Latin, that doesn't necessarily.
Pass.
Pass.
Okay. So for those of you who pass, with Matris in there, you're thinking mother. It's basically saying the Church of Mother Earth. Telluris is Earth.
The
Nostrae.
church of-
Our Mother Earth?
Yeah, maybe our Mother Earth, the Church of our Mother Earth.
Is this a denomination popular around here?
I don't know,
I'm-
but as you're looking, you also notice that there are no crucifixes that you see anywhere.
So they're not Christian, I don't think.
They recognize the 7-day myth, so
Maybe something from the old country, or
Yes, it could be. And remember,
different-
California at one time did have Greek Orthodox. Maybe this is a variation of
maybe.
Don't-
Greek Orthodox.
I do not believe that the Orthodox worship the earth, though.
Well,
Well,
you
and
have
one thing you know, because you're all from California, is there are a lot of wacky religions in California. A lot of
Mhm.
hippie religions.
Hmm.
Of course, it's not hippie time yet, but
but even
Uh,
back then there was some definite
there's some interesting progressive religions.
I'm thinking maybe there's it's like some bohemian cult that's just been here since the 1800s. And they've settled and just gotten legitimized.
There were a lot of vibrant little religions that started in the United
Yeah.
States.
Mhm.
It lists it says the time for services, and then it says Pastor Clement and Dorothy Mears.
Are they
you should go in.
both pastors, or is it just him?
All it says is Pastor Clement and Dorothy Mears.
Which again is a little bit strange. You don't normally
Oh.
list the pastor's wife on your sign.
Well, you gotta remember that this town seems to be very connected to each other. So
It's on brand for what we've seen.
Two by
Yes.
two. At 2x2, they always go. I'm half expecting an arc. Well, there will be a flood, I suppose.
Let's
Apropos.
we didn't really establish this, but let's say that it's Friday. Okay. So church services are still on Sunday, the way they're listed. In the morning, the way you'd expect in the church. You come up to you said you were going to go into the church. Okay.
Mhm.
Go up to the church, and the doors are unlocked. If you were to do a spot hidden and pass it, you would notice that you don't think these doors have ever been locked. Of course, what's the danger in this town? There's probably zero crime. It's amazing that there's a sheriff. You open up the doors, and it's laid out very much like a regular Protestant or Catholic church, except for one odd thing. It's kind of a big one. One is you don't notice any crucifixes. There's no crosses in the church. There are some pictures, like in Catholic churches, they have the Stations of the Cross. There are some pictures around the church that are decorated. They've got, like flowers and things that have been draped over them as part of the decoration, maybe for this coming Sunday. They're all pictures of fields with storms over them. Very strange. And in the front, in the center, is a big statue of the Virgin Mary, like in a Catholic church, standing there with her arms sort of outstretched. But the statue, instead of being white, has been painted. And it's painted, like sometimes Catholic statues can be painted. But instead of like a blue cloak, it's kind of a golden sort of cloak, not gold, but yellowish brown. And she seems to be in much more humble sort of clothing instead of, beautiful elaborate robes. It's definitely a statue of the Virgin Mary, but they've also decorated it so that in her hands, she's holding bunches of carrots and beets and potatoes done up with ribbon that hang down, real things like that. And her face has been painted rather oddly. You'd have to go farther in to see it, but as you do that, it doesn't look like whoever painted it did a very good job, because I'm pretty sure the Virgin Mary doesn't have buck teeth, but she's kind of been painted that way, and her eyes are too far apart, and it just gives you the creeps a little bit. And no sooner do you enter than two people, a man and a woman, they come in through a side door near the altar, and they're cleaning the sweeping and so forth. They come in and they see you, and they're like, "Oh, hello."
Hello.
They set down their stuff, and the gentleman comes forward and he says, I'm Pastor Clement. This is my wife, Dorothy. Welcome.
Thank you. We didn't mean to disturb you.
Oh, it's okay. We're just cleaning. Services are normally on Sundays, though.
I have to say, this is quite a beautiful building.
Oh, yes. It was built in the early 1800s, I believe.
It's
Oh, really?
I have to I must admit, I've never seen art like this in a church before. I gestured to the paintings on the wall.
Oh, yes. Well, it's kind of, our religion is kind of a variation on Catholicism. It's more Mary-centric, more, we call her the Mother of the Valley. But yeah, I mean, it's not, we have a few things that are different than Christianity, but for the most part, it's just our variation on it. Something that has been going on for a long time here.
If I look around, do I see a confessional booth or anything like that?
No confessional, but there are, pockets in the backs of the pews with like prayer books and Bibles and things like that.
Is this more of an offshoot from Catholicism, or is this more related to the Greek Orthodox?
Well, I think the Catholics originally built the church, but for a few generations, it's been converted. I don't know what happened to the original Catholicism that was here. It died out.
Did you retain the practice of confessionals?
No, not really. I mean, in a manner of speaking, everybody in town knows everything about everybody. We don't really, it's not part of our religion, but we don't really need to keep secrets.
Okay.
I see. I kind of am thinking about this for a moment, but since you say you call her Mother of the Valley, that makes sense. I saw the building. Telluris Matris Nostrae, our Mother Earth?
Right. Like Mother Nature.
Ah. All right.
I mean, she gives us everything in abundance. All of the food, all of the air, all of the water. It's all really from her. And if you want to equate that with God, then it's the same thing.
I see.
Is she the valley, or is she the wider world?
She's everything. Everything.
She's everything.
Yes.
And the valley is just a small piece of
Right.
everything.
And the storm cloud is just sort of a symbol we use for, power and beauty and majesty.
Yes, we've seen similar pictures from a number of places.
It's very
It's
popular.
very attractive,
Yeah.
very calming.
Yeah.
Peace
We
in the
don't have
soul.
we don't have any variation in our religion out here. Everybody's the same.
Is it widespread or really just localized to Pune? Seems a pity for it not to be.
I don't honestly know.
Oh wow.
I mean, I don't think anyone that lives in the valley is new. We've all lived here our whole lives.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Um, I'm trying to think of how I want to say this.
Just so that we know, looking at the time, it's definitely going to go more than 2 hours. You guys are doing a lot of great role playing. So
I feel it.
That's totally fine. You know us, we're chatty.
yeah, that's
I
nice.
have no idea what you mean.
What time
Yeah,
is it
I mean,
in game? I guess because we got here around what 9.
Yeah, probably about
Yeah.
2. We'll say 2 in the afternoon.
We spent a good considerable amount of time going around talking to people, sheriff, mayor, and now the church. So
Right.
I'm just because I guess my character was mostly just trying to plan for me going to all the different farms tomorrow, or I guess they're coming into town for a meeting.
They're going to have a meeting tomorrow morning.
That okay, yeah,
But you will probably most definitely have to go out and assess.
yeah.
Right.
I'll have
You
to
and
go.
I
I'll
will
pretty
have
much
to-
have to go look at everything.
Yeah,
And-
you and I will have to go out.
And I don't know if this is what Thorn is doing, but I'm sort of trying to like build some rapport with the priest. So if nothing else, we can, hopefully get him on board when the news comes out.
Once again, he seems very friendly.
Right.
I'm wondering if tomorrow when we head out, if Jakovich should stay here with Thorn, maybe at City Hall with the mayor and the sheriff to maybe go over just I guess some of what they owe for their taxes, and then since Thorn's a mortgage lawyer, maybe to go over where they're gonna go because they're gonna be interested in like oh, where are we gonna live after this? And then I'm thinking that Massey comes with me to go appraise the places because she's the domain lawyer, I guess. I guess that's just I was thinking how we split up because I realized Jakovitz and I going would be weird because I think we need at least one lawyer with because I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a home appraiser and he's not
Right.
a lawyer. He's just with the government for taxes.
Right.
So I just think a lawyer should be with us because I can just instantly see them trying to say, oh, you can't do this. And I'm like, well, I'm not a lawyer. I can't read down the law to you.
Right. But she is, yeah.
But she is. She's the person who should come with me. Because I'm literally there just to say what your house is worth and write them a check.
Right. So no, that makes sense. In fact, perhaps like you said, maybe while Yakovitz is doing well, yeah, actually that makes sense. I completely lost my train of thought there. But no, that totally makes sense.
Because Yakovitz
I
should
mean-
probably try and find some of their records and maybe just go
No.
over what people own in town and if they've made, and I can like relay any information like, oh, they have a new shed or they have a new farm or something.
Well,
when I come back.
the issue here is that first, I do believe the 2 lawyers should be speaking to the town. I don't believe you and I have the verbal skills to put it as delicately as 2 lawyers can of the situation.
Oh, I mean, we can all meet with them before we head out
Yes.
at
I
the
mean-
meeting. I'm just saying after for when we need to go actually appraise things.
Oh, true.
And visit the farms and because we have to visit the whole valley within this week. So that's a lot of farms to go to. And
But you've seen how the sheriff reacted. I'm quite sure we're going to have some people are going to be quite calcitrant.
Well, I hope that this meeting we can address their concerns, and people are going to be upset. But at this point, it is just a concern of safety. Like it's
Yeah,
not. Oh, we'll listen to your concerns. It's you need to figure out where you're going, because this valley is going to flood. It's going to be a lake
Yeah.
soon.
Well, I can tell you from experience, and I think you can too, that there's going to be some that will refuse, unfortunately.
And I'm here to incentivize them as much as possible monetarily.
Within
also
reason.
sympathize.
Within reason.
But in the end, if you can't convince them, that is when we drop the National Guard bomb. I don't want to have to drop that unless we have to.
I mean, I
Hence
think
why I stopped Marius earlier.
we should mention that they will be here at some point to make sure everyone's
Right.
gone.
Well, I
That should
think
be like, hey, you have until now to vacate the premises,
Well,
liquidate your
I-
assets. But then, like, the National Guard is like, we should let them know that there is going to be a sweep to make sure everyone's gone.
On day 6, yes.
We do need to relay that at the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Or why don't we relay that the National Guard is to help them to do the movement? I'm quite sure they're there for that too.
Yes.
Absolutely. Larger
That's actually the way
plan.
that it's been worded to you.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
So,
Yes. So like basically we're going to use the next 5 days, 4 or 5 days to get everybody sold. And then on day 6, the guard's coming in to help everybody move.
there will
Anyone
be
who
12,
hasn't.
there will be 12 trucks with 24 men.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they got the memo saying the National Guards will help them move. I got one saying the National Guards will help move them.
I don't think they have the memo yet. They didn't even know this valley.
Semantics.
I mean, you know that if somebody sells their house and agrees to move, they've got vehicles. They'll pack them up. They'll go. But some people might need help, so the guard will be here for that. But they'll guard. You're also right that the guard will be here to physically remove them if they have to.
Squatters, I
For
imagine.
their safety. You don't want them to drown, do you?
No,
But
of course not.
But there's one problem when you consider that all of the trained soldiers are currently in World War II. The National Guard are made up of people who didn't want to get drafted. So they're
Or-
not necessarily trained soldiers.
Or who couldn't make the cut.
or who couldn't make the cut.
It's the
Right.
National Guard.
You're not getting a whole bunch of Marines.
Yes. And
Sorry,
Yeah.
National Guard audiences.
We're sorry. We still appreciate you.
Very specific to
Thank
this
you.
game.
Thank you, guys.
yes, it is.
All right.
We're not getting the
So
very
obviously you're not
best.
having this conversation in the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
I guess we're keeping that in mind, that all the
Mhm.
it's World War II
we'll
still
assume
on.
that all of these conversations take place in private when you're outside or when you're
Yes, of course.
When
Yeah,
we're
if they can mind link, so can we. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh no. So I guess, is it kind of the end of the day? I don't know what else we need to do today. I guess
Do you want to visit the general store? It is right next door. We
Yeah,
might need
I would-
somebody.
I would feel better just to drop in to get an idea of the general feel of the town.
Yeah.
I'll come along too, just to get like a appraisal.
And
of the
when we
building.
do that, though, I also want to drop by the courthouse, because if there's any place that's gonna have the records, it's gonna be there. So we lawyers are gonna want to get in there.
Absolutely. I hope they all have their deeds around. It'd be unfortunate if they don't.
And I'm going to just keep an eye on the people. I want to see how quickly, see if people are already talking about us already. What I'm concerned about is the classic loose lips sink ships.
Well, so far as the day goes on, you don't see any evidence that people are whispering or
Okay.
anything like that. The courthouse in name is where they might hold a small trial if they don't actually have a judge. So the judge is probably a circuit judge. They'd have to call him. He'd have to come in from the 30-mile, away, and they use the court. So the courthouse itself isn't much more than a big room. They do store all of the documents, but it's not like anybody works there.
Oh, there's no
So-
clerk or.
No, you'd have to ask the sheriff or you'd have to ask the mayor, and he would give you access. But yeah, they have absolutely nothing to do.
Is it what? Well, I guess we're not in there yet, right? Like the doors are locked and all that.
Right.
Oh,
We do want to head into the general store, though.
And the sheriff, the mayor did provide you with documents on all of the pieces of property, their square footage, their amenities, whatever they have. He imagines that you're going to assess all of the amenities as if you were going to resell the place to somebody else. It's got a really nice swing in a tree. Yeah, that's going to be underwater.
yes. You need to explain to him the concept of fair market value and highest and best use. And they might benefit, they might not.
So for the most part, I can just say that whatever you'd need from the courthouse, you've probably already got.
Okay.
Oh, I was wondering, like, if we were ever inside the courthouse, does it look clean? Does it look well maintained? Or
You can see through the doors. Yes, once again, it's clean, well maintained. They might be using it as a community room.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That would be that might be, in fact, where you're going to have your meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Excuse me.
What do we see when we get into the general store?
Okay, general store is very neatly laid out. Well-stocked products. There's all sorts of minor farming things. There's no big equipment, but there's a lot of little things. Canned food, all of that. And of course, the second you walk in, the little bell rings. You are greeted by Sammy and Grace Fansant. Oh, hi, folks. Is there anything we can get for you?
Not at the moment. I'm just having a look around.
Take your time.
Of course. Although I'm curious, I've been noticing through town that everyone seems to like to go around in at least pairs. Is that just
we're all
local thing?
close knit. Well, every person should have somebody. God, it would be awful to be all alone. Jesus, what a horrible thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was
Well,
that
I mean,
important.
you're not upset. I mean, it's just what a strange notion. No, everybody here has somebody. I mean, we all have each other.
Isn't the mother all alone in the church? The statue, I mean, sorry.
The mother of the battle. Well, she's not exactly a person, she's a deity.
I suppose
She's everywhere. She's the reason why we all love each other.
Their ways are not our ways, yes?
Right.
I
I mean, you have kids? You married?
time and circumstances don't allow for that. I'm married to my job.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
The senior partners.
I mean, surely there's. I mean, how about you, Miss?
No. The
well,
law
there you
has.
go. I mean, the two of you.
Um,
I mean, you could make it work. All you got to do is love each other and cooperate.
They don't see this, but I'm punching the end of my fan so hard my knuckles are turning white.
Right. And how about you two? Are you guys married?
I don't even, I lost my wife several years ago. She had cancer.
Oh my God. That must be devastating. Oh my God. And he looks over at his wife and she's got tears in her fucking eyes because you said that. Oh, and she's just like, oh, that's, I'm so sorry. Haven't you found somebody else?
That kind of tragedy, takes time to recover before you can even think about having someone else around.
Well, I mean, there must be other people in your life that love you that you can cling
Well,
to.
I do keep in contact with my two children.
Now, these two that are running the place are fairly young. You'd say they're probably in their late 20s or so. Since their last name is Fansant and the building is named Fansant, it's probably inherited from father to son to whatever. They They definitely have a look. The teeth thing and the eyes that are a little too far apart, and I mean, you thought at first they kind of had a darker complexion, almost a reddish golden complexion when you're looking at them. But if in the natural course of things you get up closer to them and you're looking, they've got like fur. I mean, they're really hairy, but it's not hair like you'd see on your arm. It's a lot softer, a lot more. Yeah.
What
Odd.
about their ears?
Their ears are just, I mean, they're kind of flat and back,
All right.
but yeah.
Anything unusual about their shoes? They're not.
No,
Oh,
they're
so
wearing
they
regular 1940s clothes.
like leather shoes, things like that.
They're probably leather. I think that's about all that you could get back then.
Their
but
feet look a little bit bigger than they should be.
no, not really. But I mean, this is very subtle, but there's definitely something there. And once again, it's something that you see in a lot of the people around town, that sort of odd look. The people are pleasant. They're not exactly the best looking people.
So I'll pick up some canteens of water, things like
Oh, yeah,
that for
yeah.
the drive tomorrow. Yeah.
They've got everything like that. Going hiking. They're also a little too chatty. They like to ask a lot of questions. They're overly friendly. You guys
So-
in town to see people or friends? Or,
Oh, go ahead, Ephraim.
I mean,
We're here on business.
oh, business. Wow. What sort of business are you doing out here?
Nothing to worry so much about. I promise. But
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pry. No,
We've
I'm
been
sorry.
doing some walking, and having some extra water on hand would be useful. It's blasted hot.
Oh yeah, it's warm. You know, you should consider. And what about you, older gentleman?
Oh,
you married?
Oh, old man Douglas over there.
I shuffle up and I'm like, no, never found the time for it. I kinda
Really?
cough. No.
At your
no.
age? Well, you know what? You still could find someone, and you could still have children at your age.
Well, I guess you're not wrong, sir. But that's not why we're here today, actually.
Maybe
Oh,
there's
no.
someone here for you, Mr. Douglas. I'm sure.
Children.
So when I say
Children
that,
are the greatest joy
Yeah.
in the world. You know.
when I say that, do I notice any expressions from them when I talk about Mr. Douglas finding someone here? Any expression changes, anything like that?
I'm not sure they understood what you meant by that. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there are, young ladies, widows that perhaps Mr. Douglas can be
Oh,
introduced to.
No, there's nobody here that doesn't have somebody.
Oh, wow. Even oh, wow. I'm sure accidents happen. Widows, widowers.
I kind of just laugh that off at this point. And I'm like, I guess I want to maybe try to praise their property really quick while this is going on.
Yeah, it's a store.
Yeah,
No.
meanwhile, I'm trying very hard not to aim the point of my very pointy 1940s pumps at Thorne's ankle.
I'd like you guys to do a, well, I'm going to call it spot hidden because it's noted. You're trying to notice something. This,
I'm burning 5 luck to make the spot hidden.
Nope,
no.
no way.
I fail it.
I see nothing.
this, so far you've assumed that, except maybe for the mayor, well, even the mayor, everybody lives where they work if they work in town. But this building, this general store, is a 1-story building, and it's pretty much, a rectangle. There's a little sort of office area in the back, but You don't see any house attached to it, but there is a door over there. And unless that's a very small closet, it's a door going down into a basement underground.
Okay. I think I
You
noticed it.
You just
Yeah.
notice.
Right. It's not something particularly at this time, so I just notice it and keep that in mind.
All right.
But I do pay for the canteens of water that we all might need and things like that.
Okay.
But to keep your receipts, Julia. You know what happened last time.
Yes, that time when you forgot to tally up our meal expenses in Acapulco.
You know how the accountants get.
You went to Acapulco, the two of you together? Well, see, it's practically there now.
Absolutely. Do you travel a lot? Sammy Grace?
Oh, no. We've never left the valley.
Oh, wow. Would you like to? There's
I don't know,
a lot
maybe.
of the world to see.
But, we have so much here. Besides, who take care of the store?
Well, I'm sure it'll be great to see the world. You two are so young, yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
That would be quite an adventure,
oh, no, we'd never want to leave.
Oh, imagine yourselves, your families seeing the world, bring the, good word of the mother to everyone. Wow.
You need to stop worrying about the world and find yourself someone.
Well, that person is in the world somewhere, yes? So one begets the other.
Well, best of luck to you.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you. As soon as we're out of there, I flip my fan closed, throw it into my handbag, and shove the canteens at the rest of them, just like, not a word.
Appearances, Julia, appearances. And then I walk away.
I know,
very
As I go, and I look at Albert and go, they do make a kind of a cute couple, don't they?
Can you just imagine the contracts involved in any?
The prenups.
Oh, Julia would have the prenup from hell.
I'll interject and say that the vows would be really interesting. Do you promise on, to hereby and under all circumstance, it would be very
Yeah. Except for
3 pages of vows for each of you.
Yeah. 8
Sign
hours
here,
later, we're slowly
sign
going through
here.
the first clause. Yeah.
And I could see them both hiring myself and Albert to make sure that both of them had revealed all their finances and assets.
So
I begrudgingly go along with it.
So it keeps everything safe.
to move this forward, let's say, you spend the rest of the day looking around a bit. It's hot. So you eventually get back to the hotel.
I like the old country.
Sarah prepares a very nice meal, and Roland Andrew helps her prepare the meal, and you all sit down to a very nice dinner, and you have pleasant conversations, and you try very hard to keep from spilling the beans. They don't seem to have a clue, but they do ask a lot of questions. So it's a little tricky to, they're not stupid either. They get the feeling that, you don't want to discuss business. So they stay away from that. And eventually you go up and, you're tired and you've got a big day tomorrow. All right. So you climb into bed. They're very comfortable. And you slowly drift off to sleep. Now, you don't know whether it's the subject matter or the strange goings on in the town. You think about it a lot as you're going to sleep. You find yourself somewhere in the dark you're not really afraid. You feel you feel safe. And as you get used to it, you realize that you are on a grassy plain somewhere, going off into the distance. And there's a lot of others around you. They're dark. You can't really see they are, but they seem to be as tall as you are. But the grass is really tall too, and you can see over the top of the grass off into the distance, and there is a storm on the horizon with big cumulus sort of thunder clouds that occasionally flash, and you suddenly begin to realize that you can't move, that you're being held in place by something. You realize that all around you, these shadows that are around you, you think they're animals of some sort. And then you realize that you are buried in the ground up to your neck. It's just your head that's sticking up out of the ground as you're looking around. And as this thunder cloud is rolling towards you and bits of lightning, flash from it, I think there's something in the cloud, something huge and tentacled with mouths and lots of breasts, teats. And you wake up lying in bed, you're sweating, it's warm, it's maybe 6 a.m. and it's already getting warm. And you can all do sanity checks.
Pass.
Okay, if you pass, just take 1 point of damage. If you fail, do a 1d4.
Okay.
And if you get 4, you wake up with a
3. So I wake up with a cold sweat, look around, but no scream.
Shaking a little.
Yeah.
But it was just a dream.
It's like meeting the senior partners again.
Blank. Like me and the senior partners.
So this time, when you go down for breakfast, the boys tell you to come for breakfast. You get down there, and Andrew and Sarah, they set the table and they, good morning, how are you doing this morning? They have a little bit of pleasant conversation, but you can tell that a little bit of their friendliness has diminished a little. And they say, so we don't really know what's going on, but we've been told there's going to be a town meeting this morning, and it has something to do with you people. Care to give us a hint?
You're absolutely right. There is something going on this morning, and we are here to help with that.
This had to do with the mayor's meeting that you had with him?
Absolutely, yes. But I think at this time, you know how people get. It's probably best for us to tell everyone at once, as opposed to tell some people some things, others not. It wouldn't be fair to everyone, I think.
Well, is there a problem? Are they going to pay the farmers less money for their crops? Or, you want to tell everybody, but I'm not really a crop grower.
Oh, that's absolutely true. I think it's just for everyone to know everything, transparency. It is such a small community,
Is it something we should be worried about?
I would say that is something important enough for the mayor to, of course, gather everyone.
He and his wife, very clingy, very concerned.
So the breakfast, is it still no pork and mostly like veggies, or do they have like other meats?
There's no meat. There was
Oh,
no meat yesterday.
but eggs. So kind of
Eggs and
there was
vegetables.
chicken somewhere. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, there's definitely chicken somewhere for the eggs, but they haven't served you chicken. That's a meal.
Interesting.
It's interesting here. Andrew, Sarah, do you happen to have any ham or chicken or any meat really?
Well, there's no real farming like that here. We're all vegetable farmers.
Oh, okay.
It's more of a what's available type thing.
Right. I mean, I'm sure that at the general store they could get anything that you wanted, probably in a day or two. You're going to be here the week, right? You said?
Yeah.
For about a week, yes.
Breakfast is quite fine. I appreciate the effort you have put into this.
Of course, yes.
So
No, it's all been wonderful. Thank you.
breakfast goes as well as can be expected. The food's good. And your meeting is coming up. So you've been told it is going to be at the courthouse. You do notice now that you're getting looks from the people on the street because you're the strangers. And why are we having a town meeting? And they're a lot more clingy with each other than what you'd expected at first. But now you're kind of getting used to it. All right. So you're in the courthouse.
I learned 2 lawyers ago, make sure you're delicate with this.
Of course.
Right.
I give Thorn the side eye. We can't
Go on.
we can't
Go.
drop the bomb right away.
I believe I will leave it in the hands of the respectful mayor to take care of everything he should be doing.
All right then.
So the mayor is going to have a seat in the center. The sheriff is next to him on one side, and the 4 of you are on the other side. And you're all sort of setting up in the front, and the people are coming in. Now, if you wanted to take a guess as to which ones are the elders of the town, it's the ones that already look upset and angry as they're coming in. A few men, a few women. The pastor is one of them. But they're not yelling out or anything. They all have their spouses, and a lot of them have children with them. A lot of children. A lot of ugly children. And the mayor finally, raps a gavel, the judge's gavel. Let's have the meeting come to order. You've all been wondering and speculating. Thank you very much for not, starting rumors or anything like that. These gentlemen are here, these gentlemen and this lady. They are here from the government because they are preparing to demolish the old North Bridge, and the entire valley will be flooded. Shock and horror from everybody in the town. He said, calm down. They are here to purchase your properties and give you fair market value for what your property is worth. But we have now 6 days. 6 days. We need to have the town relocated. Murmuring. Everybody is clinging and freaking out, and I mean they're not overly freaking out, but they're obviously upset. One of the the pastor, he says, why didn't we hear about this sooner? Why are they doing this to us? What are we supposed to do?
That is, in fact, why we're here. We're going to help all of you figure out your options, at least get you the appropriate amount of money for your property so that you can start new lives outside the path of the water once the dam is demolished.
Absolutely. And Pastor, our biggest concern is that we can make sure everyone is safe together. Last thing we want would be, people separated and apart. We want to make sure all of you are together and safe.
Well, we would like to know where you are going to do that. Where are we supposed to all go together?
That is a very good question. What we're intending to do is, one, of course, make sure that all the properties are appraised and everyone has financial support. That's step one. Step two, in a few days, for folks who cannot move on their own, well, people will be coming in to help all of you move. Now, where, like you mentioned, is the most important part. And that really is up to, well, your community. Our suggestion is, go ahead.
Well, how are we supposed to find a place where we can relocate an entire community together? I mean, you haven't given us much notice.
I agree.
No, we haven't.
I agree. This is not the ideal situation. I wish we had been able to come sooner, but unfortunately, the government bureaucracy turns on its own. We were only informed of this ourselves a few days ago.
Go ahead.
We're flying blind here as well, so we're all trying to scramble.
What we can do is, Julia and I are representatives of a fairly sizable legal organization, law firm, and we have resources that can help you and everyone here be taken care of in the best way. But again, that does take time for us to prepare as well.
It starts to break out a little bit into pandemonium because, and everything I say is coming from multiple people. They want to know where any land is available that they can all move there together and establish a new community, because all they know how to do is function together in this community. They can't be split up. It's like the one woman will say, well, I don't want to live far away from my sister. I don't want to live far away from my mom and dad. I don't want to,
Cascades.
We don't believe that you can do that. How could you possibly just find an empty valley someplace where we can all live together?
But we wouldn't want to separate you. That would be horrible.
Of course not.
Well, then
However,
tell us how you're going to manage that.
We may have to make a few phone calls to get some certain legal balls rolling, but
so you don't know what you're doing yet, and that just makes them angrier.
Absolutely. But you know what would have been worse if we told you we did, just to lie to you later. So we are in full transparency that we will support you.
Worse than it is. And
imagine if you didn't know. Would that be better?
Quite frankly, yes, it would be better if a wall of water washed over us and killed us all together, separating us and tearing our families apart and ruining our families and destroying our way.
Then who would spread the word of the mother of the valley? If
I step in and I'm like, you will be compensated for all your housing. And
we don't give a shit about the money. They freak out. The mayor manages to get them to calm down. He says, these people are not here to hurt us. They don't have any say so. We've sent some of our children to war, albeit together, and the government is doing this. It's bad, but we're going to have to live with it. Now, these gentlemen and this lady will be visiting your property to assess how much money they're going to pay you. I want you not to give them any problems. It sort of works, but it doesn't work. They're extremely upset.
I guess as the meeting breaks, question: how committed is everyone here to being together and united post this post this horrible situation? You are all united in this. You agree together is what you want to be.
If I were to say 100%, I mean, that would be statistically correct, but it's more like they can't even imagine the concept of not living together, just like they found it difficult to understand that you didn't have a spouse.
Absolutely. And I think, again, if we are committed, then there are ways, once we really think through how we can best make use of the compensation that the government is ready to provide. With that much money, a lot of things can be done as long as you're all united together.
Some people are angry. Some people get up and storm off. Afterwards, the mayor says to you, well, that went as well as I guess could be expected. I think maybe the sheriff and I should come with you when you
That
visit
might be a good
people's
idea.
houses.
I would appreciate that,
Yes.
Mayor, sir.
You might want to also put some guards around the hotel we're staying at. Some may feel, even though we did not start this ball rolling, some here may feel that we are the cause of this one. We are simple pawns of the same bureaucracy that is impacting you.
We'll do what we can. There's
I
only
understand.
there's only the sheriff and his wife.
Yes. And it has to be truly frustrating for all here that this is occurring. And I can sympathize with that.
We're just here to make sure this goes as safely and as smoothly as possible.
For everyone.
We don't want to see any harm come to your community, truly.
Well, we will do what we can. I think it's a good idea if I come with you. At least maybe the sheriff will stay here. And
We'd appreciate that.
if you're not all going to come, I mean, we can start right now. We can start this afternoon.
That would
going
be
up to visit.
excellent. As
Yes.
soon as we can get started on this, the better. People can just start, we can start writing our checks, and your fine townsfolk can start making their plans.
If we can get this done as fast as may be for the sales, then we can spend the remaining time figuring out the location, which I glance over at Thorn with to see if he's on the same page as me here, which I think he might be.
Yes.
Why don't you all do intelligence rolls?
Right.
Pass.
Critical success on my 80 intelligence.
Regular.
Pass.
Hard.
Okay, so all pass. Good. The truth is, when you guys are alone with one another, you have absolutely no way of finding a place where they can all live together. The government doesn't give a shit. You just are here to get them off their properties in a way. And what happens after that, nobody cares. You care. You might care into your hearts, but what could you possibly do? Hi, can I buy a valley to put all
I'm
these
thinking
people?
buying 4 or 5 apartment buildings. We just give them that big number intended for everyone. So the number is so big that they won't even think that they're being, shortchanged. So they go, oh, wow, we all get $1 million, even though everything's worth like 4 or 5. Get them seeming, and then, no, you could get apartment buildings together. You'll be next to everyone, and then worry about the farming crap later. But that's my current plan. Wow them with a big number.
I like it.
Anyway.
I like it.
I think
Because at this point, we just want to make sure that this goes off without a hitch and that we get out of here without them killing us.
And then they become valuable
Yeah.
resources for the senior partners.
Exactly. I mean, and
They're
if
always
perhaps
fun.
and if perhaps the apartment buildings are perhaps owned by firms that are represented by Wolferman Hart, I mean,
Yeah, win-win for everyone.
Ephraim
We do
just
need
shakes
renters.
his head.
we are at exactly 2 hours. Would you all like a 5-minute break?
yes, please.
That would be
Final
truly
break.
wonderful.
5 minutes later.
All right. So who is going to go with the mayor and or the mayor's coming with you, but who's going out to the houses?
At this point, I wouldn't feel good about any of us staying behind anywhere. So if in my we had initially thought to maybe go in pairs, but at this point, I think it might be prudent if we all stick together.
And take 2 cars or something.
Okay. Your
I
town
felt-
car
did
is
we
still big
Did
enough.
we take
I mean,
one
'cause-
car here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we only have the one car.
Oh,
So
but the mayor has a car, I imagine.
yeah,
Sure.
but can't fit all of us.
Yeah.
You can
Your-
just follow us.
Your car
You can
will fit
show up.
8 people.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
the 4 of us plus the mayor and his wife, so they don't go anywhere
perfect.
alone.
Oh, too bad it couldn't accidentally
Yeah.
not fit the wife. That'd be unfortunate.
We need to not make any more enemies, please.
I want to understand, Julia, what happens if they're not alone. Or sorry, if they are alone.
Nobody
Well,
likes us.
hey, do your experiments all by yourself, not endangering.
You know, I knew 3 brothers that loved doing experiments.
I
But
can
that's
see
how
that they
learn.
worked their experiments on you. That's for sure.
All right. So you're
Ah,
gonna
yes,
all go
those
together.
3
When
lovely
we're
people.
not
Yeah, the
working,
Sprigs, lovely
we're not
people.
working.
So it ends up with the 6 of you in the car together. The 4 of you and the mayor and his wife. Who's driving?
Not me.
I don't have a driving skill.
I'll
so
drive.
that's
I'll
impossible.
drive. It's
Right.
I have drive auto.
Old man Douglas
I'll
will drive.
All right.
Mhm.
So they're going to take you out to the largest of the farms. And unlike what you think of when you think of a farm, these are vegetable farms. So there's no like big cattle barn or anything like that. There's more of a low barn where they store equipment and whatever. There's also greenhouses where they can, start the plants early. You drive up, and this is Angel and Humility Cooper's farm. So you drive up and you get out, and they're sort of nervously meeting you on the front porch, holding hands. And as you are coming up, 6 little children come running out, and the parents, tell them to play in the yard, whatever. So you're here. Do you need to look around, or where are we going to? They all want to know where they're going to end up.
But let's
they're
take a
gonna
look
all
at the
ask the same
buildings
question.
first. The barn, the house itself, silos.
Yes,
Are we
guess
going to be able to
I'll
take
just-
the equipment and anything like that, or? I mean,
Oh, the
this-
farming equipment?
I
It's
mean,
expensive
do you have
equipment.
do you have
expensive.
means of transporting it?
Well, not really. I mean, they brought it here in trucks, and
well, when the guard gets here,
You mean the help?
The National Guard is coming. with
yes,
us.
but they're going to be the people helping with the move. When they get here, they will be bringing trucks of their own. So I don't see why you couldn't.
At least the most important ones, absolutely. So
But
of course your little ones.
well,
But
I don't
there
want
is-
to leave my plow or anything like that. I mean, these are important
We
things.
can get
to
new
us.
plows. We can get new plows. Most important is you and your family is safe and sound
We can-
and together with everyone.
We can compensate you for the farming equipment as well as your property.
Mhm.
Well, you'd have to. Of course, then I'm just going to have to buy more farming equipment when we get to the new farm. So
So as a side
wanna
note,
look
fair
around.
market value doesn't would not give you that. It's just based on property for eminent domain as a side note. Like you don't read. But I'm
So
sure
I
Douglas knows that.
guess can I make my like appreciation of his like roll, like making, I don't know if I need to make an appraise
Well,
roll or something.
You'll have
give
to
him
get a good look
number.
at the property. So
Yeah, I go
you
along
can't
with
just
him.
stand here. You have to look
Yeah.
and see what they're.
Why don't you two talk to the owner about his
Yeah, I'll
concerns,
follow him.
and we'll go around doing our part. I have my large adding machine.
Mhm.
I'm going,
So, Albert, they take you in to show you the farmhouse. It's a fairly large farmhouse. He shows you that they've got 4 bedrooms upstairs. Takes you up to see those. But your impression of the bedrooms is they don't use them.
Really, just immaculate and not even disturbed.
Yeah, I mean they're clean, but they're a little, I don't know. There's no clothes hanging in the closets, and there's no, it's very strange.
I guess, do I look at the people? Do they look kind of just dirty?
Oh no,
How do these people
they're-
like
They
there?
all seem well groomed and well
Okay.
bathed, and there are lots and lots of family pictures on the mantle and around the house.
Mhm.
And the kitchen
there like
seems to be a
Do
fairly,
they all kind of have the same buck teeth look?
yeah, I mean it's that generational sort of thing. The older ones don't look as much, but the younger ones do have that same
As
sort
time
of-
passes, it gets more prevalent.
Yeah. And it
Okay,
the
I'll
thing
make a
that's
note
most
of
bothering
that.
about them is the eyes. Their eyes seem to be drifting farther apart for some strange reason.
Almost, it's less, I guess. Can I have a natural world.
Okay.
I was interested in maybe, because like that sounds like something maybe I don't know. That's a fail. So I fail that anyway.
Okay.
But
Yeah, you can't
I don't
figure
know.
out
It seems really weird to me.
that
Like their
is.
eyes are getting
the
no.
you've seen upstairs, you've seen the ground floor, you've seen the kitchen. There's definitely a basement door.
can we see the cellar too?
Do you need to? Why?
Oh yeah, to get a true appraisal. If you have a full
Oh, yes,
basement
yes.
and any equipment down there, let's say you have a cistern or something else, that could be of value.
That could affect the amount of money you get.
Well, I don't see any reason why not. I thought you guys were outside.
Oh,
But anyways,
well.
he says, all right. So he opens up the cellar door and starts down and turns on the light. And you immediately realize that the basement, the cellar, it's finished. It's not what you'd expect from just a cellar underground. It's actually been designed to be rooms.
Very impressive.
And
It's quite nice, sir.
there's a couple of the rooms. They look like one of the rooms looks kind of like a children's playroom where the kids can play, and they've got toys and stuff like that. Mostly handmade wooden toys. And then there's one room that you suddenly realize is the bedroom, but it just has one very large bed. And this room, on the other hand, it's quite obvious this is where they all sleep.
Okay.
He doesn't seem embarrassed about that or even think that it's even remotely unusual. It's just like, this is the bedroom, this is this.
Well, I do, having been from the old country, I do know of some families that all sleep in the same bedroom.
But they usually don't have other bedrooms in the house.
True,
Yeah,
true,
they
true.
usually
But
don't. I'm imagining that perhaps.
What?
You can go.
I'm a little bit shocked that they're not using the rooms upstairs, but I'm not surprised by the them all being together. It's just the waste of space is more surprising than the actual behavior.
I guess how I'm seeing it is that perhaps the original builders of the house lived up there, and whatever has befallen this degeneration, this inbreeding, whatever has happened to them, their grandparents might have lived up there, but they don't. They don't, like the descendants, because they're they're into whatever this buck teeth like thing, like tawny skin, kind of weird social dynamics. It's peculiar enough, I guess, that I'm starting to get kind of weirded out by it.
So
obviously,
you assess and you negotiate a price. So what you know is what sort of percentage you're offering them. Where do you want to go on that? Or what you're recommending? Yeah.
I guess I would thinking I'm gonna try and give them a fair price, at least 30% of what it's worth.
Oh,
we are trying to shortchange them, but
yeah,
we don't have a lot of money. I also realized, like, I look at our account and I'm like, we don't have a lot of money to give them,
right,
at all.
You were actually hoping to go somewhere around 60%.
Was I? Okay.
Right. Yeah, 30% they would shoot you.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I was looking at the map and I'm like, there's a lot of land we gotta buy.
Yeah. You gotta buy the whole valley.
I'll try to do 60 if that seems fair.
All
well, I'll do 60 of what's worth, just outright.
Are you giving them the check now, or are you?
I'm pretty sure we're writing the checks as we go along.
I thought we're lump summing them and not per person.
Were we gonna lump sum them? Because I feel like that's
one big number at the entire community.
I feel like that's not gonna work.
No, you were going to have to negotiate with each one. So
because each property's different size.
You're also going to be successful in some of them than you are in others. So you're going to have to.
Yeah.
This is the first big family too. As I go, you might want to be much higher on this one, and you can go lower on others, because when people hear that they got such a deal, that the others might be more cooperative.
That's fair.
Very true.
I don't say that to him. I write it out to him like in a notebook and just kind of show it to him.
I mean, I think 60% will be fine. That's probably.
So I would like you to roll. Actually, this is going to be a negotiation roll. So you just roll and I'll roll, and we'll see whether I agree with you or not.
I got an 84.
And I got a 12. So,
yeah, I like that.
60% ain't gonna do it.
Okay.
So I realized that we could do this all night. So we'll just say that you successfully negotiate the price.
I bring it up a little bit higher. Like, I think maybe 75%, and then it gives them a little bit more. They're not happy, but they're
not happy. And of course, they have a million questions as to where they're going to go and how are they going to find a place together. And that
I let the lawyers deal with that issue.
That seems to be the constant reoccurring.
We're just the money men. We're not.
Thank you so
Thorne
much. And Mrs. Massey can assist you with that information.
Miss Massey.
Miss Massey, my mistake, Miss.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. You really need to find somebody. To save time, as you begin, and you're only going to be able to get to maybe 5 places. They're all a little different. They're all, some are bigger, some are smaller, some have more value than others. But the one odd, consistent thing is that bedroom downstairs in the basement. They all seem to want to sleep underground in the dark and all together in the same spot.
Okay.
So by the end of the day, you all return to the town. There is a bit of pandemonium. There's people, getting supplies, getting extra supplies from the store, and the people at the store trying to figure out, if you're going to have to buy all of this inventory because this cost us money, and for the most part, you get back to your hotel, and the sheriff has made sure that, the people know, don't bother these people. It's not their fault.
I say thank you to the sheriff.
Yeah, of course. I would really thank him because
Yes, thank you very much. This has to be hard for you.
Don't thank me.
He's doing his job.
I'm just doing my job, and I'm on their side. So
Understand.
Appreciate the professionalism.
I mentioned to him offhand that I'll be by to give him an appraisal on the sheriff's office soon, probably tomorrow, first thing.
well, the town owns the sheriff's office.
Okay.
But he's got, an attached house to it. So
That's what I figured. Everybody kind of lives where they work here.
right. All right. So, do you want to do anything or discuss anything before you have your meal and your evening?
I guess it's probably worth discussing how to best relocate everyone and then make sure they are together in some way, shape, or form. Because I still stand that if there's a lump sum, there's a lot we can do. But if we're piece and parceling money to everyone, then separated, they can't buy anything.
Agreed.
The other thing I would suggest is I do believe at this time point there are internment camps here in the United States for
There are.
Concentration, internment, semantics.
There might be large tracts of land available to be purchased by these people. We could
Absolutely.
contact the government.
That is true.
And these are all farmlands too, very well tended farmlands.
Yes.
and see if that if they can agree, the government can agree to that and we and can give us verification of that might go a long way in helping us in moving these people along if they know that they have some place to go to.
Yeah.
Actually, in which case you'd have to. I would need to probably make a couple of phone calls. But I think it's.
You would probably have to call your office.
Right.
And they could make the phone calls because they would know who to.
Right. So
probably do that then.
All right. So I am going to snag Thorn because for this we're going to need both lawyers. And besides, I do not want to be anywhere alone right now.
Absolutely, we're just going to
borrow their phone to call the office.
So,
wow.
Do a luck roll on that phone call.
Oh, 2.
Sweet.
All right.
And 13, I pass.
Ooh.
Right. Well, with the O2, your partners back at the law firm.
Oh, crap.
At first, they are, this is not our problem. Why are you getting involved in this? You're just there for one thing and that thing only. But you tell them the problem, and although they don't completely understand it, they're willing to at least see what they can find. so that you have some more negotiation tactics. They honestly had no idea whether there would be a big problem or not. You could have come in here, offered them the money, and they would have all been quite happy to leave their damn farms and move. They didn't expect them all to be wanting to stay together. So they'll get back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And we do appreciate your help, sirs.
And that's because you got a good roll. Would have been exactly the opposite if
Hey.
So as soon as we put the phone down.
Okay. Well,
okay, we survived. We're good. We're good. We're good.
I want you to be aware that now that you're in the hotel, it's very likely that someone is listening to you guys. Okay, because they're worried too.
Yeah.
And at some point, the two of them, Andrew and Sarah, they approach you and they're like, so we're friends, aren't we now? Can you tell us what you're going to do for us?
We are Andrew and Sarah, and I have good news. We were able to get in touch with the senior partners of our firm, very well-positioned people, and have them look into all the farms and all the properties that were recently vacated by political situations. And there's enough room, we think, to find places for everyone. Prime farmland that was being tended up to half a year ago. I'm sure you're familiar with the war and how different people have to be moved around for the safety of the nation.
Security, you understand.
Well,
And
it's prime farmland.
I can appreciate the problem you have, because it's the problem that we have. I mean, you're talking about finding a place for 150 people.
Tens of thousands of people were moved, and these were people who, like yourselves, live in groups and communities together. So I'm sure of all those places, there is room for you and everyone. It's 100 people, it's not that many.
There may need to be some modifications to perhaps some of the properties, but it seems like most of it shouldn't be terribly difficult.
Right, and if you all can't be together based on available properties, you can always buy out people who are there and you'll be together. That's not a problem with, again, the lump sum that your entire community together can put is a lot of purchasing power.
Well,
an effort is being made to help this community as much as possible. It is not a obviously we're trying our best to help you out.
Well, I don't have property per se. I don't have a farm, so
but you own this hotel, and that is property. And
well, that's the only thing.
And your roots are here.
But it also means that I'm not going to get any out of this anywhere near as much as my neighbors. I mean,
you're one community. Yes.
Well, yeah, but my
and you
property
help each other out.
My property isn't worth what the Cooper farm is worth.
It may not be, but you all have a better chance of staying together if after we evaluate everything, if it's all pooled into one sum. Isn't that what you want?
How could that work?
Well, because this way you and the Coopers aren't trying to buy two separate pieces of land.
Yeah, but we have two separate pieces of land.
This is true, yes. But if the two of you were to say pool your money, you could probably buy that same amount of land and still have some left over.
Right, because it will be one larger organization, if you will, buying a number of properties instead of individuals trying to negotiate. Again, there is strength in that type of transaction. And this is where our firm would be more than glad to provide whatever assistance we can.
I don't know. I'm very confused by all of this.
Oh, trust me, it can be confusing at times, but we're at least working to help all of you in this hard time. I mean, it is an unfortunate business.
Think about this way as an example. If you have 5 individual guests coming to rent rooms in your, a hotel, well, you might charge them $20 per person per night, let's say. But if I go and say, hey, I would like to book a 5-room block, you might give a better number because, wow, someone's taking care of 5 rooms all at once. Similar idea where bulk purchasing can lead to benefits financially.
I don't know.
Your local grocery store does the same type of purchasing.
At that point, Sarah comes in, and I mean, she's also in the same boat as being a little upset, but she just sort of leans over to him and she says, dinner's ready. And he says, dinner's ready. We can still have hospitality, and we know that this isn't your fault. And please join us upstairs.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
So she's made a nice
Thanks.
like bean soup, quite tasty, vegetarian once again.
I might skip dinner tonight.
Her kids, they're also eating. You shouldn't skip dinner. You've got a lot of work to do tomorrow. I mean, we can sympathize with you. This is not going to be an easy thing for you to do. Please have some. Do you?
Yeah, I know.
I think I'll just have my cigarette and skip.
Yeah, you did.
I will, because
you can't be suspicious because he's suspicious.
Yeah. I will gladly eat.
He lost appetite from me smoking.
My character would eat heartily of the
I'm
meal
trying to be
and
nice.
be appreciative. I would not think of otherwise because I'm just a simple accountant. I'm not like an investigator.
It's also delicious.
I have to admit, part of me is thinking I'm more worried about them trying to poison me, but I've seen no evidence that they would. So I'm going to eat, but maybe not as much as I normally would.
Something inside you tells you that these people wouldn't poison you. I mean, there'd be no point in killing you.
Right. I mean, killing us wouldn't solve.
No, it wouldn't solve the problem.
Killing us would make
sympathetic.
I think we told him like, hey, we just told him what's up.
They do believe that you're at least trying. That it's not your fault, and they want to solve the problem together. Yeah. Marius, you said that you're not eating.
Yeah, just my cigarettes.
I eat heartily, and I tell Sarah that she is a wonderful cook, and that my lovely Glenda would have loved this recipe.
The conversation is awkward and difficult. Do you have anything you want to ask them or discuss with them before?
Yes, I ask them about their children.
I guess
because I have several children myself.
Kyle and Enoch, they're good boys. We want to have more.
Oh, I don't blame you.
We're still young. We've got plenty of time.
I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask just who founded their town, like how long this little Cottonmouth Springs, how long it's been a little community.
Well,
I
probably
don't know if
about,
that was we ever asked about that.
yeah, they tell you that the history of the town goes back maybe 150, maybe 200 years. That there was a town before that that was, I mean, the town was here, but their community really started with what they would consider like their first town elder, who had a vision. And after that, everything changed, you know. And you do notice that somewhere in this room there is that same painting with clouds and thunder, the dream that you had. He had a vision, and
I've noticed everybody's kind of had clouds, prairie in their house.
yes, I mean it's kind of the symbol of what we are. We're children of the earth, children of the lady, children of, you know, the world. We're close to the earth. That's why these people are farmers, and they wouldn't do well in a city. They wouldn't do well in a situation where they couldn't have their hands in the dirt and feel things, you know.
No, I totally get that. I tell them, I sympathize with your guys' very agrarian roots, and this must be very strange and worrisome for everyone here in town.
Mr. Thorne, would you like some coffee?
It's a big change.
Tea?
Thank you. No, I'm fine. And he just smokes.
But if she offers coffee, I will take some coffee.
I do as well, and I do sort of roll my eyes at Thorn a little bit.
I have trouble with sleep already, Julia.
I suppose.
So Ephraim and Albert.
I'll ask for decaf.
I don't
There's
think
no
they invented
decaf at this time
decaf
point.
yet.
Yeah, I don't think decaf existed at this point.
They don't do.
I like a mocha latte with 2
I'm
pumps.
old.
You would
My
have
character's
tea.
old. He doesn't need any coffee before bed.
You would
You
He'll be up all
probably
night.
want
then.
depression coffee.
I'll have tea. Yeah.
But I'll have full
Depression
option coffee.
Oh no, I'm just sad.
Do you
Well,
know
no,
what-
no.
Peter
Not-
has
not-
coffee.
not-
That's it.
Not that type of depression, like actual coffee you drank during the Great Depression when coffee couldn't be had.
Right.
Right.
I.e.
They would have a lot of
pot,
Just dirt.
a pot of
Dirt in a
water.
cup.
No, a pot of water with one little scoop of coffee.
Or
And lots
Peter.
and lots of chicory. Lots of chicory.
Chicory, yes.
Um,
Oh boy.
so Ephraim, Albert, and Julia, as you are sitting there, enjoying your coffee or whatever, you start to notice that the room is getting blurry, and you are feeling very, very drowsy.
Thorn,
Marius, as you're sitting
poison.
there-
What?
Marius, as you're sitting there,
Yeah. Spoken last week.
Albert and Sarah come over to you, and Albert says, I'm sorry, Mr. Thorne, you really should have drank the coffee at least, or had some of the soup. We're going to have to restrain you.
For not eating. Are you all right, Albert? And I look at his eyes. How does
Well,
he?
you
Thorne.
see the other
Thorne.
ones are
Oh, all of
falling
them?
asleep.
Poison.
You see-
Poison? What? Okay, and then he like slowly stands up.
Yeah,
and-
they're going to keep you.
Okay, so
yeah.
can I struggle to get up?
You can try.
I will try. Thrawn is
Right.
amazingly brawly for his rather meager strength for brawl.
Well,
Like, I'm not trying to hurt them. I'm just trying
let's
to.
gonna do it as a brawl.
Okay. All right. I am going to spend 10 points of luck to make it a hard.
Okay.
And just like, what are you two doing? We're friends. We just said we're friends.
Well, I also rolled because if you were going to try to get up, they were going to deck you if they could.
Oh, okay. So
they didn't want to, but
right.
So how does it, I say I hate combat. We both got hards.
Right, but I'm the sort of defending, or are they?
Defending.
Yeah.
We'll say that you're now struggling.
Okay. Okay.
And let's try it again.
All right. Come on. Ooh, 35 over 50, so just normal.
Okay, and I got a heart again.
Oh crap.
So they managed to struggle with you enough, the two of them together.
You're messing up my suit.
The boys, that's because the boys start helping.
I tipped you guys.
We're really sorry that we have to do this, but
why? Why do you have to?
They tie you up.
All right.
Tie you to the chair.
While they're doing that, I'm going to go, why are you doing any of this? Help me understand. Please.
Your friends are okay. They're just asleep.
How do I know that? I'm afraid for them. You know, we're like a family too.
You don't need to talk anymore. Let's gag him. So they gag you. And they look. We understand. We don't want you to get hurt, and we just need to make sure that you are in one place. They've called for another town meeting this evening. We're trying to figure out what the hell to do. And I can tell you this right now, most of the town elders are not in favor of moving. So,
I say walk away, or if I'm free, is there any way I could try to break the binding at all?
You can try, but they'll probably hit you over the head with a.
Oh, are they all? Are they? Oh, I thought they were all going to the. I mean, like when they leave the room.
Well, they're not leaving the room.
Okay, so some of them are going to the town meeting, but the kids are staying behind.
No, I don't think any of them are going to the town meeting. But
okay, so okay,
their job was to restrain you.
Okay.
They figured they just knocked you out.
I'll try to look very pitiful.
Yeah. Well, they're not. They don't want, just like you've been saying all day long. They don't really want to do this to you, but
it's business. I understand.
So, you are still next to you're downstairs. There's a window. Your friends have been propped up. I mean, we didn't leave them with their face in the soup.
In the soup.
Yeah, drowning. You can see out the window into the street. And there are quite a few people gathering in the street. You can sort of hear what they're talking about. The gist of it is the sheriff, the mayor, the grocer, the priest, they think that what they're going to try to do is they want to go to the old dam and remove any explosives that have been placed on it to demolish it, and then move them to the south dam and blow up the south dam so that they can't blow up the north dam. And the four of them go off in a truck. The other people are pretty upset, but they can't figure out anything else to do at this point. They have to prevent you from wrecking their town. Over the course of the next few hours, you are moved. The four of you are moved to the church. You're all tied, but eventually Ephraim, Albert, and Julia start to come to and wonder what the hell happened.
Thorn?
I sort of like managed to sort of scoot my way over.
Glenda.
Also, by the way, those of you who were asleep, you had a very similar vision to the before. The thing in the clouds that
Damn dream.
Stuff me with someone's socks. Oh.
What happened? What's wrong? Why are we
Bombs.
all what's happening?
Why are we all tied up for?
They poisoned us. Damn it! I wasn't paranoid enough.
If they poisoned us, you'd be dead.
They drugged you. Again, Julia, misexpected. After all, we are trying to, I guess, remove everything they know about their society, their culture, and everything by forcing them to leave.
When did you become such a bleeding heart, Thorn?
Oh, no, I just want to understand them. And here's the thing.
Can you
They
loosen
have
my
moved
ropes?
the bombs. I overheard them.
Oh, you guys
Oh.
aren't alone either, by the way.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
There's
am I
a
so
couple of
gay?
people in here.
Am I so gay?
Because
guess
I
I still
crawled
won't
over
do
and ungagged him with
So-
even though my hands were tied.
Okay. Redcon still gay.
Never mind.
Um,
Oh.
Yeah, we'll say that you managed to get the gag off your face.
Oh.
I go, you do. I go,
So
I look at him. I look at him. You do know that this isn't going to help you in the long run.
what? The bombs?
No, I'm talking to the people who
Our
are
guards.
Oh yeah.
The town elders have spoken, so
They're making.
As soon as-
I understand what they're trying to do, but they're going to, unfortunately, even if they are partially successful, that is just going to bring more wrath upon them by the government.
When they catch word
mean-
of this, and they will, it's not gonna go well.
we're
They'll
defending our
arrest some
land.
of
I
you,
mean,
someplace other. You'll be separated. The last thing you want.
They will
you think that you're
purposely separate
threatening
you.
us. You've already threatened us with the worst possible threats.
Why? No,
We're
no, no.
taking
With-
things into our own hands at this point. So
We're
Well-
just as much bound to our elders' edicts as you are to yours. We're just here to do our job.
so then you're
and if we,
resolved. Good.
Here's what I want to understand. What has the elders, decided would happen once this very, very short-term situation is resolved? Do they think the government will not send more people? I mean, you have a town of 150. The government has an army. Some of your boys are there. Is this how you're treating them and
I
dishonoring
doubt
their memory?
seriously that they're going to recall our boys in the army to come back
Oh, no.
and take care of this land.
Oh,
But your
That's-
boys are loyal to the country, and this is what you're doing? This is how you're betraying.
This is our country. This has
Yes, and
been
you're
our country.
betraying the
This is
government.
our land.
This
How dare
is
you? You are nobody. This is our land.
your
We've lived here
land.
for generations.
This is the government's. This entire nation. Again, that's what sovereignty means. The government, through fair compensation, can account for just public use.
Ephraim just goes,
they're not going to listen, Thorn. As much as I agree with everything you're saying, at this point,
I look
all
at
we're
one of
doing
them
is
and go-
all we're doing is signing our death warrants.
I
Because
highly
you
doubt
can-
that.
I look at one of the other.
Because I looked at him, you can't let us leave. Because the moment we do, that's when the government finds out what you've done.
I'm sure the government will find out regardless when they come here. Julie.
Well,
And-
What do you think the government will do?
Well, when you blow the South Dam, that's money they have to spend to repair that.
They'll have to
And-
listen to us. Maybe they'll find some other place.
Can I chime in? And I'm gonna ask him with complete sincerity, what happens if your elders don't get to the bombs in time before they go off at the northern dam and the
Well-
valley floods?
You said that we've got 4 more days, so
But
they'll be
that's-
there in less
but
than an hour.
If you're telling me they're all headed up there right now, who's to say our boys from the government won't just prematurely detonate the dam upon an altercation that's going to occur?
Right. It's not like we're
Undoubtedly.
leaving explosives unattended around there.
I don't think you understand who these
No.
people are. These aren't like the guys working on the dam. These aren't construction work. These are demolitionists. These people are here to destroy this thing.
I think that you overestimate what they would be willing to do. You think they'd blow up people?
My concern is
if
an
they felt
accident
threatened enough-
occurs.
Exactly. If they felt threatened, these are hardened mountain men, miners. These are not people to be messed with. I'm kind of trying to be hysterical to kind of like,
Then we all die
Hey.
together. At least we're together. A
Well.
few people start trickling into the church as you guys are there. They look in your direction. They're not pleased with you, but they start to go forward and place offerings on the altar of carrots and beets and potatoes.
I start saying to him that I forgive you. Even though you are doing wrong, I do forgive you.
How magnanimous of you.
At which point I'm just like, I'm just letting you know right now, we die, it's not the government you're gonna have to worry about. I glance over at Thorn. The senior partners are pretty damn vindictive.
We have years left on our contract. They're not going to be pleased that, our services have been denied.
I kind of just huff and just say, I guess if we're all gonna die here, I'm just kind of sad I never got married. I say,
Can you bring me some more coffee? If I'm going to die, I would like to at least have a little bit more coffee. And Miss Sarah's carrot cake would be nice.
Let me ask all of you this. You're willing to die together. Are you willing to live together
We do live
and
together.
spread the word of the Mother of the Valley
We have
beyond the valley?
no interest in spreading the word. We're quite happy living right here together.
But if you all die, her message will be gone forever.
What message?
I mean, no one else worships her but you, like you said. So what happens when no one else is around? You're so willing, so proud of dying together. Are you sure that's not cowardice?
What
You don't
happens to-
understand much about nature, do you?
What
Nature-
happens to a deity when all her followers die?
Good question.
She was here long before man existed on this planet. She'll be here long after we're all gone. Why wouldn't she be?
Then why
Why
are
would
you
a
so
deity
obsessed
be
with this valley?
Why would a deity be in need of anyone?
But if she's everywhere, why are you so obsessed with this valley? You could worship her and be with her everywhere. She's omnipotent. You just told me. I don't understand.
Well, you
Maybe teach us. We have time. I'm not going anywhere.
You don't have any idea. You came here to buy our property and kick us off the land. You had no intention of taking us anywhere, relocating our entire community. You would just send us off in all directions. That's not acceptable.
Ask Andrew, ask Sarah, ask them what we've been doing. I'm sure they might have overheard us talking to our elders to
I'm-
make sure you are all taken care of.
We
I'm-
had actually had some fairly good success, but if we die, if you just show them that what we did means nothing, they're not going. This is not a threat. This is a guarantee. they will visit upon you worse than what you might ever do to us.
That
They
would be a
will.
relief.
Like what?
Let's just say, I say, if we die before our contracts are fulfilled,
Someone have to make good on it.
someone has to make good on it, and our souls are all we're already soul bound to the firm. What about the rest of you? They're going to want recompense for their lost agents.
Some of them, so they'll be separated anyways. I suppose that's my vengeance.
You don't seem to understand. We have no intention of killing you.
All right,
Why
then
would we
take us in
kill
a car
you?
and drive us out.
Oh, well, you're in the
Well,
same boat
then let
we
us
are.
just untie us and let us leave.
Oh, we're not going to do that either.
Well, you could keep us tied.
If we're
just drive us
going,
out.
you're going with us.
Are we part of your community?
Where are you going?
Well, you've been here in our community for a few days. You've been fed and taken care of and treated nicely.
No. We paid. That's called a fair trade. We have not been fed. We provided something you want, money, and you provided something we want, food. There's no give. We owe nothing. Understand the relationship there.
Well, then it's a sad circumstance for you.
Right. So are we part of this community, or are we?
What a
separate and
shame that
apart?
they sent you to do this evil deed to us.
I don't think I accept. If they bring me the coffee and carrot cake, I will enjoy it.
Oddly enough, when you said that, somebody went off to get you guys some food
All right.
because you haven't eaten.
I yes, and I did, and I thanked them. I said, if I am going to pass beyond and see my former wife, I am appreciative of the food and the sustenance you do provide me until that time.
At least they worship some of the laws of hospitality.
The one leans over to another one. He says, apparently they believe there's an afterlife.
Well, that's what my religion believes in, and so I follow it. You know, if that seems to be,
your religion is false.
Well, it could
When
be.
does your religion do anything for you? Does it call the rain? Does it make the crops grow? Does it feed your family? Does it give you love? No.
I said, until I've seen something
yours?
otherwise, I say, until I see
Yes.
something otherwise, I cannot only go by what I've experienced, correct?
Do you not see it when you look around you? The town, how well it's run, how much everybody loves one another, how our crops grow, how we've prospered, how our children
Yes,
grow.
it seems like an unfortunate circumstance. I say back to him as he said to us.
Our children, with each generation, we become more like her. We become more children of the earth. We can see physically the result of our love of the mother.
Well, then you have been truly blessed, but you'll understand if I may be having not been here long enough to experience everything, that I may be a doubting Thomas. It has nothing to do with, and I say, it's not about me doubting you. It's more about me, needing to experience more.
When you dream at night, what do you see?
And I explain to him what I see, because I'm not going to lie to him.
You don't understand yet, but
Well, with time, maybe I will have understanding, but until then,
that's
will-
all we're asking for is time.
Yeah. Your
Don't-
biggest issue is not us, and I say that, and I say,
No,
I understand. I'm just being honest with you. Your biggest issue is those outside of here.
other people start coming into the church and praying.
And I wish you the best. And this carrot cake is really wonderful.
Yeah,
Wait.
Are they like feeding you, or are your hands untied?
They're probably
they're
feeding
feeding
me.
you.
Okay, like
But
help.
That's
Hey. If I'm going to die, I want to be well fed. So,
that's Guy and Fidelity's Guy
Mhm.
and Fidelity's Starrett's cake, carrot cake.
yeah. And
That's
I
a
say,
mouthful.
and I say that is really, truly wonderful cake. You have been very fortunate to have discovered such a wonderful recipe.
So they've got guards on you 24 hours a day.
Hey, as long as they're
Take
feeding
turns.
me, I'm not going to argue too much.
They unrestrain you enough to where you can lay over on the pews in the church. They'll give you a pillow to sleep. They feed you. But and people are coming into the church to pray. But it starts to get late into the evening. They're not going to let you. You're pretty sure they're not going to let you go. You hear a truck come sort of screeching in to the town, and there's quite a bit of bustle outside. You can sort of see through the stained glass windows something going on. You hear that they met with a great deal of resistance when they got there. Just like you said, there were workers there, demolitions, and there are also some government people there because they're overseeing the whole thing. The priest is dead, and so is the grocery store man. What was his name?
Sammy.
Sammy. Yeah, Sammy is dead. Their wives are, inconsolable. They are now a mob of torch-bearing, angry. They want to do something to the four of you. Maybe a sacrifice to the mother. Maybe she'll save us from this nightmare. But they don't. They don't kill you immediately. Well, they don't kill you. And we're just going to move forward. On the sixth day, the National Guard shows up. 12 trucks, 24 men. And as I described them earlier, these aren't exactly highly trained soldiers. They are ambushed by the people. They continue to pray. They pray with great vigor that their mother of the valley will rescue them. They've tied up all of the guards. They're all with you in the town. And there doesn't seem to be any way out of this. There's too many of them. The children, now that you see even more of the children, some that have come out of hiding, it looks like a group of groundhogs, and you can see the look in all of them that this sort of seems to be a trend. They huddle together, they cling together for safety. And then on the seventh morning, fairly early, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, the entire town is gathered in the center. They're all praying to the mother. And at first you think you hear the sound of thunder you think maybe your dream is coming true, but there's no clouds in the sky, and a wall of water starts heading in your direction. And after trying to maybe hold your breath for a moment, you guys are hit by the wall of water, and the entire town, everyone in it, and the National Guard, and everybody else is wiped off the face of the planet. And that's the end of our story.
Guess we'll need to renegotiate our contracts.
Oh no.
Glub, glub.
As soon as I find myself, in front of the senior partners as a ghost, I argue in the worst possible way for every single soul in that town, the kids included, to be fined for reparations as to the manners of both of our deaths.
Oh, I want commission, Julia, not commission.
Ghost lawyers, this is getting worse. Oh no.
This is our commission and deal.
St. Peter is like, welcome to heaven. Oh wait, there's a clause here in your contract. Yeah, got a problem here.
Well,
all right,
100 for one, we got 200, so that was rates we negotiated.
Yeah, so it's like, I do the biggest court argument of celestial court argument of my life, so that entire town is bound to senior partners for the rest of eternity, away from their goddess and away from each other, because I did not deserve to die like that, and I am vindictive.
I just want a 5% commission, so yeah.
You were correct in assuming that it was Shub-Niggurath who was involved here. But if you understand anything about Shub-Niggurath, she's not really she's a force of nature.
Right.
Right.
So all of the praying that you want to do to her, she's not going to pay any attention to that. She never pays any attention to that. They worship her because they love her. She's there, she makes the crops grow, and slowly she has been redesigning them, And yeah, in fact, they're kind of turning into prairie dogs. They all want to live. They've moved out of the upstairs in their houses, and they've all moved down into the basement so they can all huddle together, soft and warm in the dark underground. And
makes sense.
That's really all there is to the story.
I'm telling you, we can move them to the LA sewers, and there you go, perfect place.
Oh, I know.
They're
a
not
perfect
the rat
place.
people.
It's the groundhog people.
If they had, but anyway, yeah.
Do you have any questions? I mean, you guys pretty much figured it all out.
Yeah,
I mean,
we figured it out. It was just a matter of
any way for this to end other than all of us drowning?
Not really. I mean, I suppose you could have escaped, but where's the fun in that?
Could have just run away.
Yeah.
Plus, we got really great carrot cake, so don't complain.
The game is designed to cause a great deal of conflict in your own minds between what is right and what is wrong, and what the hell am I doing? And these people are so sweet.
Some of us didn't have that problem.
They were all so nice, and then they weren't.
Yeah.
We tried to help them, but the issue was it was going to go bad either way. So
I just think collective bargaining could have worked. They could have bought a farm, a large property, and then become the next Monsanto or something.
I just think they didn't want to leave.
They didn't know.
It wouldn't matter if the mother's everywhere like they claim. It shouldn't have mattered.
I mean, ideally, you're probably correct. However, she's just as indifferent there as she is anywhere else.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I was thinking about this, is that the level of inbreeding they had and the level of the fact that she was starting to change them, they could not comprehend that this was probably the better solution.
Well, then I'm not so sure that there was that much inbreeding. It was the influence of Shub-Niggurath that was altering their genetics as they were going.
That makes sense.
Remember, her vegetables and everything else
that
were
is
being
something
influenced by her milk.
That proximity to her causes that. It's also possible that it would have only worked in this valley because there's some sort of interdimensional nexus that's here.
That makes sense.
Anyway, let me go ahead and finish it. Our
Okay.
players, our players
right.
included Dexter Yoakum, Billy Chung, Oren Meyer, and Jen Obertaz as and with yours truly as the keeper of the secrets. Boy, I screwed that up. I only do this every week 1,000 times. So we have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the fine arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.